And we are live. How's everybody doing? My name is Anthony Brian Logan. Thank you for joining me tonight on tonight's episode of ABL Live. You could be anywhere in the world, but you're right here with me, and I definitely appreciate you for that. We got quite a few topics happening, quite a few things going on. I know you guys have been watching the news and watching the videos and keeping your ear to the internet streets and the social media streets and all that good stuff. Jeffrey Epstein, it's a lot on my mind about that. But you got to talk about that guy. I mean, that whole situation is getting crazier and crazier by the day. The conspiracy theories can't really be labeled conspiracy theories anymore. It's got to be probable outcomes, most likely outcomes, most likely ways a situation happened. How did this guy do what the media are saying that he did? How did that happen? It doesn't make any sense. We'll talk about all that though. Also, Chris Cuomo freaking out, having a meltdown after being called Fredo, talking about it's the equivalent to the N-word. If it's the equivalent to the N-word, then why can't you say, and why can't anybody say Fredo without it being considered somehow a hate crime, but N-word, not so much? Also, Joe Biden, is he a gaffe machine or is he just old? Got one foot in a proverbial grave, just not really an effective person anymore. What's really going on with that guy? I can't really call it. Hong Kong protests are really, really cracking. What's going to be the result? We'll talk about all that and more on tonight's episode of ABL Live. And I thank y'all for joining as always. I most certainly appreciate you. You could be anywhere in the world, which right here with me, and I thank you for that. Most certainly. It's a lot we got to talk about today, and we're going to get to all of that. I got to start first with your guy, your homie, Jeffrey Epstein. Now, think about this for a moment. You're in a penitentiary, a secure facility. Well, not penitentiary. You're in a jail-like place. It's a detention center. It's a federal detention center. You are the most high-profile, how can I say? You're the most high-profile inmate in the world, but yet you wind up dead. How does that really happen? You got two guards that sleep at the same time. So you're not supposed to leave your post, but they both leave their post at the same time, sleep for the same amount of time for 3 hours. That right there makes no sense. Okay, you're tired, you're worn out, you're doing 80 hours a week, overtime, this, that, and the third. Okay, all right, boss, you need some rest. Although you're not supposed to be doing that on the clock because you have inmates that you got to be trying to watch. You know, somebody might mess around and try to set a fire or kill themselves or kill somebody else, kill their cellmate, and you're sleeping. Now, they did that, but they also did it at the same time. Two different people. What's really going on? Tell me how that makes any sense. Logically. All right. Maybe what happened is you had these guys that decided, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take some money to just close my eyes and not look at that cell for 3 hours. And then whatever happens, happens. If he gets killed, oh well. If he dies, he dies. I got paid. My family got paid, whatever. They may get locked up for what they did or what they didn't do, which was to be doing their job. But I feel like they say, you know what? It doesn't really matter. I'm paid in the shade. I'm good. My family's good. So what? He's, a piece of garbage anyway. Oh, well, I don't feel no ways tired like Hillary Clinton would say. So I'm thinking that is a likely reason why Jeffrey Epstein is quote unquote dead. And is he dead? How do you die from hanging yourself from a bunk bed with a prison sheet that's like a 0 thread count when you're 6 feet tall? Like, seriously, come on. You can stand up higher than the top of the bunk. So how do you hang yourself with a bed sheet? And then how long did that take? How did this happen? Now, people that are in the actual MCC, like in the administrative part, they're saying, oh, it's Donald Trump's fault because MCC has been understaffed since Trump took office. It's his policy, because MCC is a federal institution. So they're saying Donald Trump, the BOP, the DOJ, whatever, it's their fault that this happened because the prison was understaffed or the jail department was understaffed. Well, El Chapo was there for 2 years. El Chapo escaped from the penitentiary in Mexico, had a whole tunnel and everything. This man lifted a trap door under his shower and walked away. Had a bike in the ground and everything and bounced. But you mean to tell me that you can hold El Chapo for 2 years? He just got released and sent to a different place recently. Like, he was in there at the same time as Epstein was. I think he got sent to Supermax or some place like that in July. And Epstein was there at the same time. So you can hold Epstein for 2 months and he dies, but El Chapo for 2 years, nothing happens. Come on. It doesn't make any sense. High profile person already had one suicide attempt, right? Suicide watch. And you conveniently let him off and the guards go to sleep conveniently and the cameras conveniently malfunction right in front of the cell. It's too many coincidences. It's too many coincidences for it to be a pure coincidence, for it to be happenstance. It doesn't make any sense. Everybody on the left and the right says the same thing. This is not a partisan situation. Everybody says it doesn't make any sense. Everybody. Nobody says, oh, that sounds right. He just, killed himself when the guards went to sleep for 3 hours. It was a perfect storm, in my humble opinion. Yeah, the bathtub, a secret door. This man lifted the actual tub up, and up under that, it was some stairs or a pathway underground to escape. Okay? And this man had cameras in his cell. But we have cameras, we got guards, and you're right there in Manhattan. What do you like? You know what? It's fishy. Because this guy, Epstein, was not just a person that had demons of his own. Everybody knows he's a piece of garbage. Everybody know that Jeffrey Epstein should have got the chair or something to the equivalent for what he did to the young girls. Everybody knows that. But see, this wasn't even about him. It was about those that he could implicate. Leaders of nations, leaders of men. You're talking about Prince Andrew, the son of Queen Elizabeth. You're talking about Slick Willie, Bill Clinton. You're talking about Kevin Spacey. You're talking about maybe the prime minister of France in the past. Not Macron, but other prime ministers. MIT scientists. You're talking about the guys who are way up here that you never see that may control an aspect of your life. Inventors, people that really drive the world were on his little list in his black book. So when them unsealed documents came out, less than 24 hours later, he's dead. Because people knew that if he snitched, oh man, you're talking about countries, it'd have been really bad for a lot of different people. And the funny part is that these people may not be out the woods yet. It still may be an issue. You still may be able to get some of these individuals caught up that were in his black book. Okay, they raided the pedophile island in the U.S. Virgin Islands where his house was at. They raided that. The federals raided that. Now, who knows what they got? Did they get any kind of documentation that implicates anybody? Because if they have documentation, if they got pictures and names and addresses, that right there can be enough to indict you. Of course, the case would stick more if you had Jeffrey Epstein alive, obviously, because while the federal government has a very high conviction rate, like 98% or more, these individuals who you're trying to go after got plenty of money, the best lawyers in the world. Think about this. The government came after him in 2008. I think it was the federal government in 2008 for the same charges, and they were only able to get him in the penitentiary for a year. And 12 hours out of the day, he did not go to the penitentiary. He was at his office, taking trips, and pretty much looked like he was free. And then he would basically have weekend jail at night. So you can go for 12 hours, do whatever you want to do, gallivant around town, work, get money, and then come to the penitentiary to sleep. And in the morning, you right back out in the world. Okay? You're not showering there. You're not really eating there. You're pretty much just spending your nights in the bed in some kind of club fed type situation. And that was a federal government. So imagine if you're dealing with leaders of nations, diplomats. I mean, people that you can't even really touch normally who are implicated in the whole Jeffrey Epstein situation. Okay, people that are in different countries. Like, if anybody's in that black book, they probably already done fled. They definitely probably already done fled the country. And how you going to get him back? That's like the Roman Polanski situation where he went to Poland or somewhere after he got caught with a little girl here in the States. Was it here in the States? It might have been somewhere, but either way it goes, this guy got caught with a little girl. He's wanted here in the States and bounced. Like Asada Shakur, the lady that killed the cops, she's in Cuba and they won't release her. So how about those that are implicated in the situation? They may not face prison time because you got to bring them back to the nation in order to try and convict them here and have them sentenced here and, get extradited from wherever country they're from. They may not face prison time because they won't come back. However, that's going to damage the reputation, and that's not a good thing for those people that are involved. It'd be great for us and great for anybody that's a victim of these particular crimes, but it wouldn't necessarily stick the same way it would if Epstein was living. You're talking about people just presenting documents and saying, okay, this is what happened, versus Epstein saying, okay, he's guilty, he's guilty, he's guilty, he's guilty. But that situation is absolutely nuts. And what else is happening here? Oh, Chris Cuomo freaking out. Now, this situation was wild. It was certainly crazy. He's at a bar, right? I'm not sure what happened before the camera started rolling, but he's just having a good time, whatever. And I guess they cut in on a certain part where the guy called him Fredo. Now, I've never heard in my life somebody being called Fredo and it being an ethnic slur. Never in my life. Shout out to my homeboy Anthony. We got the same name, obviously. He's Italian from New York, like Long Island, and he was telling me about the term WAP. I had no idea what that meant. He said without passport, and that they call Italians and Irish that when they came to Ellis Island, and we're in New York and we're not really, I guess, citizens. I'm not really sure, but anyway, that was a slur used against Irish and Italians. But I had no idea that Fredo was a slur. I don't think Cuomo knew it was a slur either because he used it against himself back in 2010. I think it was on the Howard Stern show, and they were describing something, and then he was like, what? So I guess I'm Fredo, huh? Like, he said it like it wasn't even really a thing. They didn't say it. He said it himself. And then Navarro got on CNN recently when she was filing it. Remember that whole situation, filing her nails? After she was filing her nails, she was talking about Donald Trump Jr. being the equivalent to Fredo. He did not bat an eye. He did not flinch. He didn't do anything or say anything. So was it appropriate for her to use that at that particular moment in time? Maybe he pulled her aside afterwards and said, hey, you can't use that word. I'm offended. It's racially charged. But I did not see any change in his whole demeanor when she said it. If a thing offends you, you would at least have some kind of reaction a little bit. But there was deadpan, nothing. Also, Jake Tapper used the term in some kind of weird cartoon he drew where they again depicted Donald Trump Jr. as Fredo. I've not heard anybody apologize. Nobody say, oh, I didn't know it offended Italians, nothing. And I've known Italians and Irish and Polish, people that were kind of like in the lower class in America, the white ethnics that came from Europe fairly recently, like within, like 1940, 1950. I've never heard anybody say that Fredo was some kind of racial slur at all. Yeah, exactly. Cebon, I know I'm messing it up. Cebon Jehovah. Yeah, he called himself Fredo before, but now you got to tell me that Fredo is somehow offensive. How is it offensive? And even if it was offensive, why go through all this tough guy stuff? Look, I am a peaceful guy, right? I'm not really trying to hurt you, but what I'm not going to do is sit there and just talk you to death. Either I'm going to hit you or I'm not going to hit you. I'm not going to, be just, all doing all this barking with no biting. Either I'm going to just get right in your space and knock you dead in this section right here, or I'm going to leave you alone. All this barking, that's a fake tough guy, fake New York tough guy. If he did that to the wrong person, it would have just been lights out. Birdie is chirping all over in the cartoons. It would have been a done deal. That's pretty much what would have happened. So Yeah, fake tough guy, getting offended at nothing. And for what though? I think he was more offended at being called Fredo because his brother is the governor of New York, Andrew Cuomo. Maybe he feels inferior to him, like he's not living up to the Cuomo name. I think his father, what, Mario? I think he was a governor or something. If I'm wrong, let me know in the comments below. But there was an issue there as well with just feeling kind of inferior, like you're not living up to the family standard. Like you couldn't be in government, you couldn't be an important person. You just pretty much stuck on the wasteland on the CNN. I mean, I suppose it's a good job. You make plenty of money doing that, but you know what do you really have over there? You're just a anchor. You don't have a show. I don't think. Does he have a show? I don't know. If he has a show, it doesn't really do very good on the numbers. Like Brian Stelter in his show doing terrible numbers to be on television. So maybe he feels kind of inferior to his family members that have become more successful and important than he is. The whole racial slur, ethnic slur thing is not even really real, in my humble opinion. All right. Yeah, Mario, what about Luigi? Hilarious. Yeah, I never heard anybody say that the Mario Brothers was somehow offensive or Olive Garden or anything like that against Italians or The Sopranos or any kind of, mafia movies. And Sopranos was a great show. Goodfellas, Casino, great shows. I never heard anybody say that they were offended. So I just don't really understand where this whole thing comes from. And then he tried to say that it was the equivalent to the N-word. How? How is the term Fredo the equivalent to the N-word? Nobody ever says the full actual word on television. Almost never. You might have Don Lemon to say make a point, but nobody really says that. He wouldn't say that. You're talking about Fredo. I mean, Chris Cuomo. He would never say that. So the fact that you can't say a word versus words you can say lets you know right there without any other context which one is worse than the other. And then there's this whole history of racism behind the N-word, slavery, lynchings, beatings, a terrible past that is far behind us that people sometimes try to bring back up by using that word. All right. But Fredo, you're talking about the Godfather movie from 1972. Really? That's what we're going to talk about versus a word that has history going all the way back to the early 1600s before there was even a USA. I mean, like, reaching is an understatement for what he did. He definitely did some go gadget type stuff right there, trying to reach for the stars with that one. So what else we got here? Joe Biden. Now, what's going on with your man Joe Biden? I understand he's 77 years old. He is not a spring chicken anymore, but come on. I mean, at a certain point, what he does every day when he goes out there and says things that are incorrect, when he embarrasses himself, it can't be just seen as, he's gaffe prone. That's part of who he is. He's everybody's kind of quirky uncle. No. See, the gaffes that he made before are different than what he's doing right now. What he would do before is just say things that were kind of insensitive, and he got to apologize for it later. Like the whole thing with you got to have a slight Indian accent to go into Dunkin' Donuts or something like that. That is a gaffe because what he said was not sensitive to certain people. People got offended by that. So he said, okay, I'm sorry I said it. It was a mistake. Whoop, 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 whoop. All right. That's different than saying I was the vice president in 2018. That's much different. He said he was a vice president in 2018 twice in the same day in Iowa. One at the beginning of the day, one at the end of the day. He did meet with the Parkland survivors or some of them in 2018, but obviously he was not the vice president at that time. He's losing his mental capability. He's not really sharp as he was in the past. It's pretty clear to see, at least to me, that is. All right. So, no, Gaff, no. He's 77 years old. He's slipping mentally. He's already getting tired. He's already fatigued early in the campaign cycle. And if you fatigue now, just wait until you're the only guy on stage. Right now, you're sharing stage with other people. Like you're at these debates and you're talking and you're given like 45 seconds to talk. You speak for 44 seconds and stop right there and don't speak anymore. You don't finish your thought. You don't conclude your sentence. You just pretty much put a pause to it right there at that moment. If you and Trump are on stage and you got to talk for like 5 minutes, 10 minutes. How are you going to do it? If you can't talk for 45 seconds, how are you going to go 10 minutes straight without any pausing? How is that going to actually work out for you? It's not going to work out too well, in my humble opinion. So he's pretty much done. I don't really see a path forward for him. He's only there because he has the biggest ability to gain money for the DNC at this particular point in time. If it were not for that, I doubt that he would really be here. What would be the purpose? Why have a guy like that on that can barely talk for 1 minute, who doesn't even know when he was the vice president or not? I mean, the gaffes, nah, that's aside from the point. That's what he does, yes, but what he's doing right now is just saying things that make no sense at all. And it's a constant. It's not just, okay, you had one particular thing where you said something and it didn't make any sense. This is every time he's out there on the campaign trail. The video I played today, those clips are all from the same event, basically, in Iowa, or for the same like 2 or 3 days. In Des Moines, Iowa, he said all those gaffes, it's like 3 or 4 quote unquote gaffes, really just mental slipping. That's what's happening. He's not sharp mentally and he's starting to slip. You're able to see it. At some point in the debate, you can look in his eyes. You can see a guy that's pretty much lost. He don't know where he's at. That's what's happening right now with quote unquote creepy Uncle Joe. But they, meaning those on the left, don't want to admit that. They want to say, oh, no, he's fine. It's weekend at Burners all over again. He's dead, basically, but you wouldn't basically like just carry him around like he's still living. No, I see a corpse right there, sir. You can't fool me. I know a corpse when I see it, so I understand what's going on here. But what else we got going on? The Hong Kong protests are pretty deep. They've been going on for a long time, but there's always protests like this in Hong Kong, but not to this extent. The most recent one is because they don't want to have Hong Kongers get sent to Beijing to be extradited and charged for offenses there in mainland China. It's a really long story. I did a video about that. Check it out if you want to. But I support them 100%. Now, some are asking, when is Trump going to get involved? Shouldn't Trump be involved here? I don't think so, because like I said in previous videos, I want Trump to be a non-interventionist. So why would you go over there and try to help Hong Kong? We send our prayers. Hopefully it works out well, but that wouldn't be a fight that would make any sense, nor would it be one I want to get into. First of all, Hong Kong is a city of like 7.5 million. Mainland China has 1.3 billion people. Would it be 1.3 billion and growing? Shenzhen, which is a Chinese city right across the border from Hong Kong, literally has 35 million people. How are you going to be able to fight that? How could the U.S. fight that? For what, one city? Hong Kong is an economic hub because they were controlled by the British for 100 years, and they have that Western system of capitalism and whatnot versus China's communist system. That's why China wants it, because of all the money. And also because when it was handed over by the British in 1997, there was a certain set of laws that were given to the Hong Kongers that were going to expire in 50 years in 2047. So they're trying to get that date accelerated. So by the time that date gets here, they'll be fully Chinese. Ain't gonna be no more Canto. It'll be all Mandarin. That's their goal at the end of the day. How you really going to stop that? I'm not really sure. I think what they're doing right now as far as resisting is good, because they're able to maintain at least some of their autonomy and not be completely taken over by China and become, to become part of Shenzhen or to become Beijing, Shanghai, Guangzhou, places like that. So hopefully they're able to maintain some of their sovereignty and not be totally swallowed up, but they're already doing things right now in China to make that not be the case. To make them more Chinese. There's a bridge that's like 35 kilometers long that goes from Hong Kong to Macau. And then, of course, mainland China. So they're already, quote unquote, bridging the gap quite literally with physical infrastructure, with language, with laws, all kind of different things. It's unfortunate, but hopefully, like I said, Hong Kong is able to maintain at least some of their sovereignty. That'd be good for me. And thank y'all for joining. I appreciate you. If you're just not coming in, please give the video a thumbs up and share the video as well. I'd appreciate that if you did it for me. Oh, it's all good. Don't even worry about the tardiness. Yeah, major powers are worried about this, of course. China's just growing, really. People don't really understand that China is a colonial power in a sense, because Taiwan, they say they're independent. China says, no, you're not independent. Same thing, I think, with Macau, maybe. Hong Kong. What else? The South China Sea. They're claiming sovereignty over certain water in the South China Sea that belongs to Laos and Cambodia and Philippines and, other countries that are right there. And they also took over Tibet. Tibet used to be a sovereign nation, not anymore. Tibetans don't speak Mandarin, I don't think, and they don't read Mandarin, obviously. Most of them don't. But China has control over that entire region. And Tibet is pretty big. It's not necessarily very populated, but it's big. And it's strategic because it's neighboring North India and other nations that are pretty much like North India, like, Nepal and Bhutan. And you got Afghanistan right there. It's a whole different ball of wax, so I digress. But my whole point is that China is a colonial power, and it wouldn't be a thing for them to take over Hong Kong like it was just any other place to take over. Taiwan, Tibet, etc. That's how they do. If they could take all of the Asian region, Southeast Asia, they do that as well. They take Cambodia, they take Laos, they take all of that if it made sense. They would take North Korea too, but they don't want to take all them starving people. And then also they don't want to have a nuclear fallout. And then also they like North Korea being there because it's kind of a buffer zone between them and the American-backed South Korea. They don't want that capitalist influence to invade their country with a direct border. Because what had happened is you have people that live in China to move all the way over there to the border and set up a big city right there. And they don't want that because it'll just flow throughout the entirety of China. And you can't control people like that. You got to keep them under the system of communism. Right? So it's a whole lot going on. And thank y'all for joining. I definitely appreciate it. Is the chat too fast, really? If you guys want slow mode in the chat, let me know. I'll see if I can tighten that up for you. And thank you for everybody who is in here. We got 454. Good money. Yeah, China is wild. So, I mean, it's hard to really fight against them. They got all kind of intellectual property. They have weapons that can shoot down satellites. I'm talking about it'll obliterate an entire satellite into a million pieces. They tested it on a satellite that was up there, and it's a bunch of debris just floating around as a result. Like thousands of pieces of debris of a satellite they shot down to test it out. So it'd be rough, man. Like, imagine if your cell phone or your Facebook or whatever you have to communicate just goes offline because the satellite that was in the sky to make that happen is gone now because China shut it down. What are you really going to do? All right. It's not fast. Okay. Good money. Chat is fine. All right. Okay. We got super chats to read right quick before we get to a little bit more information. And thank y'all for being here. I'll get to the calls in about 15 to 20 minutes. You guys just hang tight. Hey, the whole thing about jazz hands, I'm not even really sure what's going on with that situation. It's pretty crazy. All right. Fredo Cuomo needed a red flag. That was funny to see Trump talk about the whole red flag situation. Hilarious. But at the same time, while it was funny, it also showed how the red flag law can be abused because he was talking about how Chris Cuomo was acting and hooting and hollering and ranting and raving. If he's acting like that, he should not have access to his gun. He should be, put into a facility maybe. I'm not really sure. I don't think liberals like that too much if the law were used against them. So I don't know if he was being funny or what, but it's a great example as to how the law can be abused, which is why I'm not a fan of it. People say you support everything Trump says. There's some things I don't like that he says, but most things I agree with him on. I agree with Trump on more things than I disagree with him on, and I agree with more of the things that he says than the left. You understand what I'm saying? My two things I say that I don't like about what Trump has said before is his stance on Second Amendment, at least recently with the red flag and background check. Not really a fan of that. And also, when he was running, he said that he did not mind people that are transgender using the bathroom of their choice. He said that if Bruce Gender wanted to use the bathroom, that he felt like using, he could do that. And Bruce Jenner did go to Trump Tower. I think it might have been New York, Miami, whatever. And he went into the ladies' room. I'm not a fan of that. Trump is more of a centrist type person, almost like a New York liberal Democrat. But he has a brain. The things that he does well, he really does well. Being a proponent of, of life, being pro-life, not being quote unquote pro-choice, which ain't nothing but pro-death anyway. There's a lot of things he does that I like. Not really wanting to be a foreign interventionist. Called off that Iraq strike. I've not seen him engage in any new wars. So I like a lot of things he does, but there's some things I don't like. Like I said, the red flag law, background checks, and also the transgender bathroom kerfuffle. I don't like that at all. Caitlyn Jenner. Yeah, pretty much. Caitlyn Jenner. Now, you know what? That's a good point. I didn't even think about that, Chrissy girl. Fredo Cuomo, last attempt to get ratings. That could have been it right there. This whole thing could have been set up for him to get a little bit more shine on his TV show, because anybody watching CNN gets artificial numbers because they have deals with certain places. I mean, you can watch it in the airport. If you're just sitting right there with nothing to do, your phone's on 10%, you don't have a newspaper, you're pretty much just sitting in the terminal for an hour waiting on your flight, and there's CNN, you might watch it because it's right there. Or if you're in a car repair place or something and they have CNN on, or if you're in a nursing home, a hospital, something like that, you'll watch it. That doesn't mean that you just wanted to watch CNN because they're so great and they're so fantastic. Also, when you search on Google, a lot of times your mainstream leftist media comes up first. I never see Breitbart in the search results, but Breitbart is a very popular website. I would say that they're more popular than Fox News as far as the website is concerned. I could be wrong about that, but I would say they're right up there if they're not as popular as Fox News. But when I do search results, I always see New York Times. Matter of fact, I always seem to get these pay sites. I'm not paying for New York Times, sir, or Huffington Post, Washington Post. I'm not paying for any of that. All right. I'm going to find a free source to read. After I read like 3 articles for the month and it says you got to pay, I'm good. No, thank you, because there's nothing here that I really want to read. The iPads would be the only thing that's unique, and I don't want to read anything like that from New York Times. And if it's really salacious, it'll be for free somewhere else when they're reporting on it. So why do I need to come to you? But my point I was making is that when you search on Google, a lot of these so-called mainstream media sources from the left will come up right away. CNN being one of them, that'll be right at the top. Same thing over here on YouTube. They try to do that here on YouTube. They, like, if you search for a mass shooting or something, you'll see a carousel of videos from CNN, NBC, ABC, etc. They do it like that to say that these are trusted and reliable sources. I can't tell, because almost every time I see one of these people, they're talking about a thing that's not true. Russia this, Russia that. Exactly. Hey, I hate New York Times for the whole, you got to pay. You're out of articles this month. Okay, I'll be out of articles this month. I'm not gonna buy anything from you. So let's just have that be that. Thank you to super chatters right quick before we get to some calls. Shout out to XLX Bones, who says this is Fredo country. Thank you for that, man. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Richard Cruz, who says love your show, Anthony. Well, thank you for your donation and your very kind words. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to a Swede Speaks, who says China is buying Africa. 100%. I've been saying that for a long time. People say, oh, you're being paranoid, ABL. They're not buying Africa. They're trying to go over there and help. They don't want to be like the West and give all these strings attached with the loans, this, that, and the third. It's like, no. China is taking the most away from Africa for the least amount in return. They don't care about the corruption that happens in Africa. They'll give some random person in the bush, $1 million and take all your resources. That's what's happening. They'll go, like I saw an exchange where the Chinese built a railroad. I think it was in Nigeria. It was a big railroad system, but they got 4 plots of oil for that. How do you quantify what 4 plots of oil are worth? You can say how much the railroad costs. How do you quantify how much 4 plots of oil are worth? I mean, why would you do that deal? It doesn't make any sense. They take advantage of poor countries that don't have the liquid capital to be able to pay for things. If they don't take resources from you, they'll put you into a debt trap. They'll say, okay, we'll loan you some money so you could pay us to build you something. Like it did, I think it was in Sri Lanka. They loaned them money to build a port on their actual southern tip, I think. And then when they could not pay it back, of course, because they're a poor nation, China just said, okay, how about we do this? How about we just put a 99-year lease on that particular port, and now we own it, we operate it. You see, that's kind of how that works. And they're not going to be able to pay it when the lease is up, so they just keep renewing that lease. So what they did was they made Sri Lanka pay China, so China was able to have a port in Sri Lanka. That's what they're doing in Africa. But thank you for the donation. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Jay Greer, who says Fredo isn't a slur. I bet all the guys named Fredo don't appreciate Cuomo saying their name is a slur. There you go. I'm with you, because isn't that an actual name? I mean, that's like if somebody tried to say Anthony was a slur. It's like, no, it's not. It's my name. I had it in my family. It was my great grandfather's name. A lot of us are named Anthony somewhere, middle name, first name, or whatever. It's a family name, a proud name, and it's an Italian name on top of that. So, I mean, the whole thing is bug. But thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to FU Google. I can't say the actual name, who says, love you, ABL. I appreciate your donation and your very kind words. Psalm 91 says, in my humble opinion, calling an Italian Fredo is like calling a Cuban Tony Montana. It is not racist. By the way, I am Cuban. Well, there you go. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Lenny Saptho, who says, I'm to believe with all the inmates on suicide watch, the only successful one was Jeffrey Epstein that day. That guy not on suicide watch. Well, there you go. It doesn't make any sense, but hey, it is what it is. We'll find out more as we get it later on in the actual discovery. But thank you for your donation. Thank you to Chrissy Girl for your donation. I definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Jay Barrett, who says, been with you for more than a year. You're always worth listening to. Thanks for all you do for all of us. And thank you for your donation and your very kind words. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to These Here, who says, I'm not sure, I think it's a rose. But thank you for the kind emoji and your donation. Definitely appreciate it. And thank you to A Sweet Speaks again, who says, Swedish government picking fights with Poland and with Norway. I'll call you on Saturday and tell you about it. Wow. What are they doing? I mean, you got ASAP Rocky and found him guilty for no reason, had him detained for a month over nothing, and you're trying to pick fights with neighboring countries. Like, what are you thinking about? Are you trying to just end your country? I don't understand what's going on, but thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. All right. Now, yeah, somebody tried to tell me that I have 3 first names, a white name, all kind of stuff. I have a very proud family name. But, Chris Cuomo, I'm not really sure. And I appreciate that, Technologic. Thank you for that. Sending money through Patreon. If anybody wants to send money through Patreon or PayPal, I have links in the description box, or at least they should be. And if you want these flags that are on the background behind me, I have a link in the description box for that as well. That's from bhedesigns.com. I had these custom made. This one right here, I sent it to my man. This is before the whole Colin Kaepernick kerfuffle. I just like the whole, the Betsy Ross flag, 1776, we the people. I was like, yo, I kind of like designed it for him and then sent it to him, and he made it come to life in the beautiful flag. Fantastic craftsmanship. I love them. So if you want any of those flags, custom order, prefab, whatever the case, big, small, glossy, matte, go to bhedesigns.com right now and get them made for you. And I'd appreciate it if you did that for me. Sweden is run by women. Yeah, I think they have I saw this meme of the security ministers or whatever, and you got like cooking ladies, cafeteria ladies. It's like, man, that ain't going to get it done. You want a guy that has like a scar over half of his face with a constant frown on. You want that guy to be the defense minister. You don't want Mary Poppins to be that position. You understand what I'm saying? But I digress. Yeah, I'm not really sure why Fox does that. I think the reason why Fox may do that is because certain comments may affect your video. I'm not really sure. I can't really call it. Maybe they don't want to moderate and they're trying to save money that way. So that could be it. They may have gotten complaints about the comment section talking about, oh, it's too toxic, this, that, and the third. So maybe they don't want to deal with it. I can't really call it at all. Duke Raul says no cameras in Fed lockups is a violation of their right to privacy. This is true, kids. Well, I mean, they did have cameras because, well, at least in the MCC, which is not a prison, it's like a jail. It's a detention center. And they had, and the reason why I know that is because that's how they caught the guys that were sleeping. They caught them on surveillance camera, not making their rounds when they're supposed to. And they said that the camera in front of Jeffrey Epstein's cell was malfunctioning. That could be true, could be false. I don't really know. But they did have cameras in the facility. That's how they were able to catch those guys. And they also allegedly falsified their logs. Like they saw the surveillance footage and then they saw the logs. It's like, wait a minute. How are you going to say you made a check on this cell, that cell, that cell, when at that time on the tape you weren't there? What's really going on? What's going to happen eventually is that the BOP, the federal government, MCC, they're going to be sued by Jeffrey Epstein's estate and or his family, and they're going to win. And that's going to be crazy. If they get the money back that he may have spent in any kind of lawyer fees or whatever from the federal government, that'll just be ridiculous. But aside from that, hopefully they're able to go ahead and get them locked up. That's what I want. I mean, not him locked up, but his co-conspirators. Anybody that was involved with him, his girlfriend, Gishmain, Maxwell, whatever her name is, hopefully they get her and anybody else that was involved with it. Prince Andrew, if he's involved, to get him locked up. The only issue would be those that are trying to extradite them from their countries, which it'll be pretty much impossible. So you probably won't be able to do that at all. Fredo has a concealed carry permit. He could have had, I think it's Rascal 77 who says, Fredo has a concealed carry permit. He could have yanked it, or he could have it yanked under current law for the threats. Red flag abuse for a guy with anger management problems. Yeah, I mean, he most certainly could have that whole thing yanked if the laws go through, or if it's a law right now in the books. But I wouldn't want that to be the case. I definitely would not want that to be the case. Because at the end of the day, I don't think the red flag law should be on the books. And that's what I was talking about earlier where Trump said, this could be a case of the red flag law. It's like, okay, there you go. It's a prime example of how the law could be abused. And you don't want that. Yeah, exactly. Hold on. That's a good comment right there. Lynn W. says the guards were paid to kill him. Other prisoners heard him squeal for help. They waited 4 hours before medics called. That's what I'm thinking. Because I did hear that about some squealing happening on the actual tier. And if that's going on, then you know that it's an attack happening. It's not, he killed himself. Like, come on. You're 6 foot tall and you hang yourself from a bunk bed in the penitentiary with bed sheets from the penitentiary. It doesn't make any sense at all. None whatsoever. Hold on. You can hear Skype? Okay. Well, I fixed it. Sorry about that. I don't know how that happened. That was weird. You shouldn't hear that because it came through. I had my my desktop was okay. I know what happened. You guys were hearing it when I switched it, but before it wasn't on. Okay. I fixed it. Y'all can't hear it now. Now, how long was that going on where you heard the music? I don't even know. But sorry about that. But Skype does his own thing. What it did was it switched the actual input. I have on these Bluetooth headphones, and it switched the input from just regular audio to headset. So I couldn't see it. And then I switched it, and then I didn't catch it again. So it's just weird. Yeah. Now, how long would it take, Duke Raul, how long would it take a guy to actually die from hanging himself on his knees? Like, how long would that process actually take? That's what I want to know. That's the main thing I have a question about. Oh, 15 seconds. Okay. 45 minutes. So it was ringing for 45 minutes, 30 seconds, 15 seconds. Okay. I got it. All right. We have Tammy Taylor on the line. Can you hear me? Hold on. Let me see if I can get you. You guys hang on one moment. Tammy, can you hear me? Okay, Tammy can't hear me. All right. Now, what I'm trying to do right now is get a guest on just for about 10 minutes, but I think she can't really hear me. So, Tammy, if you're listening to the show, if you can see me, what I need you to do is fix your audio settings on Skype. I'm typing that right now in the box. I'll tell you, Skype is the best thing in the world. I love it. You never know what's going to happen. Everything is just, it does whatever it wants to do. Okay, so let's say less than 10 minutes. Less than a minute, less than 10 minutes. Hey, now, do you think that in a facility like MCC, where you got a federal prison, a federal jail, is it possible for him to do that without anybody seeing it? Should security be high enough for that to not happen? I'm seeing on different shows, they're saying that it's impossible to hang yourself in a penitentiary and not have anybody know what's going on if it's secure like that. Is that true or no? Zoom is way better. But see, Zoom does not allow me to have a phone number, does it? If Zoom gives me a phone number, then I might rock with it. Or I may just use Zoom for the video part. And then because with Skype, I can do video and also the phone at the same time. So I don't need two different apps. You see what I'm saying? That's pretty much what it is. All right. So, okay, Tammy, if you're listening, I'm going to try to get back to you, but we got to keep going with the show. So I'm going to get to the calls right now. The number to call is 434-658-1220. And if you want to call, matter of fact, I'm going to tell her to call through the phone so she can get on that way. All right. Thank y'all for being here. If you're just now coming in, please give me a like on the video. And I appreciate you guys for doing that. Let me get to my first caller. All right, caller, you're on line 347.
Joshua.
All right, Joshua, what's happening?
Not much as of lately.
All right, no doubt.
These Hong Kong protesters are important because that it is important because it shows that America is a country of freedom, because Hong Kong is semi-controlled by China, which is a communist country. So they don't have the freedom as much, nowhere near as the freedom as much as the United States of America. And these crazy, insane videos that police are being of citizens with the citizens have nothing to protect themselves, and not having a Second Amendment over there. It just shows that America is the land of freedom.
Oh, definitely. Matter of fact, I saw them in Hong Kong singing. I saw
that too.
The national anthem. That was a beautiful moment, because they appreciate what we have over here in America. They appreciate Western culture, Western society. They don't like the communist Chinese regime trying to come in and beat them in the head with their particular ideology.
Right. And this exercising bill is a critical moment for Hong Kong.
You said what now?
Hong Kong it's a critical moment for Hong Kong, the extradition bill.
Now, do you think they'd be able to succeed? Because the thing with Hong Kong is that they're trying to fight against extradition, but will they actually be able to succeed? Because the Chinese government, I mean, it's a behemoth. You're talking about the total population of like 1.3 billion people. like
Right.
a fifth of all humanity. I mean, it's difficult to
Oh,
actually be
about
able
to
to.
surpass by India very soon, a couple more years.
You said what now?
India is about to surpass them in a couple more years in terms of population, but I digress.
Yeah, India too.
Yeah. Like, as the French Revolution they successfully overtake their government. So I think the Hong Kong period might be able to do it, but who knows at this point?
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't even know what's going on with that, but I'm going to cut you short here. But the call's really jumping, and I guess I'm going to get on. So I thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Yeah, and also a short thing I want to talk about one more before I.
Give me like 20 seconds, man, because the time is ticking.
Yeah, I think Jeffrey Epstein is alive somewhere.
Yeah, he might be alive. I mean, that's
He's
you know.
probably in Kyoto.
Huh?
He's probably in Kyoto.
he could be anywhere. You never know what's going on. But I thank you for the call, man.
Probably start burning buildings, do
Right.
some shady stuff.
No doubt. But thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
That's too.
All right, now.
Take.
All right. Thank my man for the call. Definitely appreciate him. All righty. Now, the phone lines are jumping. I'm going to try to get to everybody as soon as I can. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. If Tammy is listening, I'll try to get her on. Call the number 434-658-1220 because your Skype, you can't hear me when I'm talking. So you got to fix your audio settings that way. All right? Let's get to my next call. Magnificent, what's going on, man?
What's good, man? Can you see me?
I can see you. I can hear you. Everything's good.
Cool, man. Cool. I appreciate you coming on the show last week, man. The great comments. People really enjoyed it, man. I just want to thank you for that. That was a great collaboration.
Oh, yeah, man. I really enjoyed that, man. I was reading those comments. People really they were really into it, really engaged. So I'm glad that your people over there really liked it.
Yeah, man. It was really fun. So let's get into it. I want to talk about the Hong Kong protests. Now, I made a video this morning about the Hong Kong protesters with the American flag and singing the national anthem because I thought that was really powerful. Like, it really shook me to the point where I wanted to make a video about it. And all of the comments I read were people saying, I love them. They're like patriots. We need them over here. How come they're more patriotic and they understand the symbolism of the American flag more than American citizens? And it got me thinking, with the trade wars going on between the U.S. and China, I propose that we trade San Francisco to China since they're more communist, and then we can have Hong Kong come over here and join this sovereign nation because they stand up for freedom and liberty. I just want to get your thoughts on that. I think that might be a little far-fetched, but how great would that be if we could just propose that little trade?
It's a great trade because they both have very good economies with, you know, the whole tech industry over there. Hong Kong has a very good economy, and China depends on it. They can just switch that out for San Francisco. It'd be an equivalent amount of money. You can have all the commies that you want, flood the Chinese mainland, and then when they get beat in their head by the Chinese soldiers, they'll understand what's like to have freedom. But at that point, it'd be too late because y'all got them over there. Y'all deal with them. Let's get some actual patriots that might not even speak English. Hey, it'd be a perfect situation, 100%. I say make that trade happen right now.
Right? And you know what else? You know what I love about it the most? It blows up the leftist narrative that the American flag is all about oppression and slavery. You know, I just saw Colin Kaepernick on Twitter. I don't know if you know this, but this is like the 3-year anniversary or something of him taking a knee, and he's talking about police brutality and the American flag and oppression. I'm like, try telling that to the people of Hong Kong who are using the American flag to get them through one of the toughest situations that they've faced in a long time. I know they're always protests and there's always turmoil, but this seems a little bit different. You know, that it just blows up the entire narrative. You know, like the left is always talking about how migration's a human right and we need to stand up for all these, you know, refugees and migrants. But then they're also like, America's oppressive and racist and it hates all the minorities. It's like, you can't have it both ways. So I really had to highlight that. But yeah, man, I want to talk about what I like to call Fredo Gate. This guy, Chris Cuomo, here's what's funny about this, okay? I saw the video, and at first I thought like, okay, this is just a distraction from us talking about the Epstein thing. And he really got triggered over somebody calling him Fredo, calling it a racial slur and stuff. And I instantly thought about the Streisand effect, okay? Because he got triggered off of one person calling him some stupid name. And as a result of him having that explosive temper tantrum, now everybody's talking about it. It's on mainstream news. Now Trump's tweeting out T-shirts of it. Now everybody's going to be calling this guy Fredo. That's Streisand effect. What you think about that?
Oh, 100%, definitely. I mean, I had no idea what the word was, even some kind of slur. I had no clue. I didn't even know about that story. I didn't watch the Godfather movie. I had never really seen it. I've seen clips of it here and there, but I'd never seen it. So now I'm going back to examine it, looking at the psychology of it, and like, okay, you are Fredo, because his brother, Andrew, is the governor of New York, much more powerful, much more successful, and he's over there, having this hissy fit in the bar. I would not see Andrew Cuomo doing that. So you are the weak brother. So you are Cuomo. You are Fredo. So he got offended because it fit. That's what happened.
Yeah, it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, but that's the whole doctrine of the left. It's all about victimhood. There's currency. There's something to be gained. It's virtuous if you can see yourself as a victim. And instantly he's like, well, I'm a victim. This is like the N-word. It's because he thought that would elevate his status to where he could, hopefully move up. He's probably thinking about, where should I go after I leave CNN, since they ain't doing nothing but circling the drain anyway. Like I heard you saying, they're forced on televisions in airports. Nobody willingly watches CNN. So he's probably looking in the future like, all right, what can I do to stir up things and get myself more notoriety? And that's what's popular on the left, right? Erica Thomas, she's like, I'm a pregnant black woman. It's like,
she said that.
Like, they're just trying to layer on this victimhood so they can be like more insulated. Like, the more oppressed and intersectional I am, the more victimhood currency I have, and then I'll be propped up and given more than 15 minutes of fame. And it's always projection. That chick Erica Thomas, I saw her interview, and then the guy shows up to her interview, and then she says to him, you're not getting this spotlight. You're not getting this 15 minutes of fame. You just want your 15 minutes of fame. I'm like, this is projection, because you're the one who went on Facebook Live crying about it. That's what the left is, man. I see this more clearly than ever before. It's 100% total projection.
Oh, absolutely. 100%. Like you said, she went on Facebook Live, made this whole big thing about it, all this, that, and the third. And then she says, oh, you can't get your 15 minutes of fame. You can't do this and do that. It's like, well, what are you trying to do? When you went on Facebook to do that, what was your purpose? You had on a Planned Parenthood T-shirt on the Facebook Live. I mean, you know what was going on. You made the story up after the whole you have to go back chant happened, so we know what was going on. Don't try to play any games here. Like you said, it's all projection.
Yep. Yeah, man. I just wanted to say that. Oh, one last thing before I go. What do you think about Jay-Z's new partnership with the NFL? I thought we were boycotting the NFL, right? Kaepernick can't get a job. Jay-Z, I know he's still got some Rock Nation thing, but now it's like we're tiptoeing back in. I know we said we're done with the NFL, but now Jay-Z's like, yeah, I'm going to help oversee the Super Bowls. See, they think that their followers have like goldfish memories. Like, oh, yeah, we're just going to get back to it. I'm so tired of this, man. It's just, it never ends. The insanity is just a bottomless pit. Remember when they banned all the people from Facebook, Alex Jones, Laura Loomer, Paul Joseph Watson, and then they threw in Louis Farrakhan to make it seem like it wasn't biased. And then Snoop went on Instagram and he's like, hey, I need everybody to post pictures of Louis Farrakhan, cuz we ain't gonna, we need to do this. We need to show up. And then Snoop didn't even do it himself. And then 24 hours later, he's back to smoking weed on Instagram and just forgot about it. Same thing with Jay-Z in the NFL. What do you think about this?
Well, the thing about Jay-Z, I'm not surprised at all. His wife did that already because she has this singing group called Chloe and Halle. Matter of fact, one of the girls is going to be the new Little Mermaid. Remember that whole situation? That's one of Beyonce's girls in the group. Anyway, they went and sung a national anthem at the Super Bowl or something. Matter of fact, it might have been an NBA game. But they sung the anthem. It wasn't no knees going on. It wasn't none of that happening. So it's like, okay, you can go to this halftime show and have your group there, but you say you want to boycott the NFL and you stand with Kaepernick, this, that, and the third. But when it comes to getting money, when it comes to getting exposure, when it comes to furthering your career or those of people that you manage, hey, all that go out the window. Money talks, BS walks. So Jay-Z doing that, not surprised at all. And his fans won't care. They may care for about a day at most, some of them, but like you said, after a while, they forget about it. They'll be right back uh, doing what they were doing before. They might actually resume watching the NFL. Some of them may say, you know what, I don't want to watch the NFL no more. But for that particular event, because Jay-Z's in it, they're going to be all over it.
I know, it's so sad. Just sheeple, man. Just no principles whatsoever. Just like, well, this is what general population is doing, so I'm gonna just go with the herd. They're too scared to go against the grain and stand on principalities. That's what it is, man. Appreciate you letting me call in, man. I need to borrow some subscribers too, because I'm over here struggling. My channel has not grown in like 4 months, man. It's crazy. So for those of you guys watching, please find me on YouTube, Mike-nificent. I'm also on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter as Mike-nificent813.
All right, man. Thank you for the calls, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Yes, sir, man. We'll be in touch.
No doubt.
All right, man. Later.
All right. Thank you to my man, Mike-nificent, for the call. I most certainly appreciate him. And you guys subscribe to him right now. I'll put a link to his channel in the chat box. Subscribe. Mike-nificent. Great channel. I'm not sure what's happening with his channel. I'm not sure why it's doing what it's doing. But hey, we're going to try to get him back growing again like he was before. Did somebody get blocked? I don't know what's happening. All right. Now, I'm going to try to get my guest I was trying to get on right now. So y'all just hang tight. And if you just are coming in, please give the video a thumbs up. Give it a like. The likes are free. I'd appreciate it if you did. Yeah, the whole thing with the NFL, not surprising at all. Like I said, Beyonce had her girls at the Super Bowl singing the national anthem and at the NBA game doing the same thing. So it was like, all right, you want to boycott the anthem when it is politically expedient, when it makes sense. But then when you're talking about making money and it's for that purpose, you just throw all that out the window. It is what it is. All right. Do we have Tammy on the line?
Yes, we do. Hello, Anthony.
Hello. So I have on the line Tammy Taylor, Executive Director of Urban Game Changers Alabama. What's going on?
What's going on is we are preparing for the 400-year commemoration of when the first African landing at Point Comfort and in the state of Virginia. So the site is Fort Monroe in Hampton, and we're having Urban Game Changers. We are having an event. It's a 5-day event, and we'll be having a panel full of speakers. You can find us at urbangamechangers.com. August 21st at the Founders Inn. We are having registration on the 21st from 4:30 p.m. to around 8 p.m., and that will be with the meet and greet. So if you want to come on down to the Founders Inn August 21st in Virginia Beach, Virginia, Urban Game Changers are meeting there to have a meeting and a meet and greet and registration. The event will actually, which we have a panel full of many speakers. If you find us on Facebook and our website, you will see a list of all our speakers. The event will be at Hub 757, and that is located at 6801 Bridgeway Drive in Suffolk, Virginia. The subject matter we are discussing is African descendants of slaves, and mainly illegal immigration and how that affects the Black community. So we just need as many people as we can to sign up for this event. As I said, all of our speakers have confirmed for this event, and we do need volunteers. The events we have, Urban Game Changers, will be August 22nd, the 23rd, which we'll have the panel of speakers, and then on the 24th, August 24th will be our busiest day. So the 400-year commemoration at the first landing, they are reporting that 2,500 people will be at this event.
Wow.
And Urban Game Changers will be there passing out flyers and getting people to sign up so that they can continue to follow through with Urban Game Changers. And on the 25th, August 25th, we will have a day of healing and prayer.
All right. Well, that sounds good. And for anybody out there, I will be there. I'll be there on that Thursday and Friday for the actual event. Matter of fact, I'll be in Virginia for a while. I won't be there on Saturday, unfortunately, but I will be there Thursday and Friday. So if you want to come to the event, you want to support, you want to volunteer, go to urbangamechangers.com and also urbangamechangersconference.com. I put the links right here in the chat box so you can go to it right now, and I will be there. So hopefully I get to see you all in Virginia helping out a very great event with a lot of great speakers that'll be on the panel.
Wonderful. And what's really important, Anthony, what I want to get out is that speaking about African descendants of slaves, yes, our ancestors built this great nation. And with the situation we have with illegal immigration today, it literally takes away from the African American family, where we have reports in California where illegals are being hired and the black community is actually being forced living onto the streets because the black man can't even find him a job right now in California because they're giving the jobs to illegals. That's not only happening in California, it's happening in different states. So we have to be having this discussion right now as these things are happening, where we have many things going on in Congress. We have illegals that are seeking asylum, and it's really hurting the black community, where many of the black families are literally homeless right now in the state of California. We all know the homeless issues right now in California. Well, that is coming to a town near you. Your job is to come on down here to Virginia and have the discussion and really figure out what is it that we need to be doing and asking for when it comes to our president and Congress.
Very well said. So I thank you for the call. I definitely appreciate you. And everybody go to urbangamechangers.com and urbangamechangersconference.com for all the information, all the speakers. And again, I will be there next week.
Thank you, Anthony, for your time.
Thank you.
Good day.
All right. So I will be there, at the conference for a couple of days. I'll be speaking at panels and whatnot. So definitely, I'll be around town in Virginia, coming back home for a little while. Hopefully I'll see y'all there. I'll be all around town, moving and grooving. So, and if you guys want me to come to your particular state, your city, hey, fly me out. We can talk about it. I have an email address on my website. And if you don't know, it's contact@anthonyblogan.com. My website is anthonyblogan.com. And hey, hit me up there. We can get something going. I love to be able to come to your city, your state, whatever you got going on. Just bring me on out. We can do that. All right. Now, Brad, come on, Brad. You got to think a little bit here. A lot of us are conservative that are going to be at the event. So what we're trying to do with the actual event is to wake a lot of black folks up that are still kind of on the left that just don't understand what's really happening. One thing I always hear from black folks is that there's never any kind of outreach from the right to the black community or to black areas. Like, what black areas are. Nobody ever goes and reaches out to them. So we're going to do that to bring more people from that situation over to our side. For me, it's a recruitment exercise. All right. But we're going to get to all of that and more as the time progresses. But the number right now is 434-658-1220. Thank you all for calling. But let me get to my next call. 780, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Anthony.
Hello, who am I speaking to?
Liza Jean from Canada.
Oh, Liza Jean, what's going on? I couldn't hear you. I didn't recognize your voice right away.
Oh, that's because you're just hard to get into. When I used to call you before, it was easy. We're talking First Step Act. We're talking urban game changers. A lot of people are just shaking their heads and saying, something's wrong.
I mean, I don't understand.
It's all good. With all the chaos that's happening, a lot of people are reaching out to each other. I think that your visit to the White House, people that are just trying to control the narrative, all they want to do is have us talk about Epstein, but nothing's going to be done.
Mm-hmm.
And for anyone to why would anybody swallow the mainstream narrative that, he's dead? Right?
Yeah, I don't see why anybody would. Some people just feel comfort in that because, they tell you what you want to hear rather than what the reality most likely is.
But the reality is that there are thousands and thousands and thousands of victims
Yes, absolutely.
who are children, and this is epidemic. But we can either focus on that, or we can focus on like the last caller. And you're going to be going to that event, right? Urban Game Changers.
I will be there. Yes.
Yeah, that's exciting. When I hear things like that, it just makes me realize that good people are doing something, and people that just want to regurgitate the mainstream media talking points, I don't have a lot of patience with them anymore.
I hear you, because that's I think a lot of us are starting to realize that all of that stuff is just bogus. It's not really real. It's just like comfort food versus healthy food, I suppose.
Yeah, don't eat at McDonald's.
There you go.
Thank you so much. I love what you're doing. You take care.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, bye.
Thank you, Elijah Jean, for the call. Most certainly appreciate her for her call. The phone lines are jumping right now, and I'm going to try to get to everybody. I've already had like 20 calls in just a very short period of time. So I'm going to try to get to all you guys as soon as I can. Y'all just hang tight. Let me get to my next call here. Let's go to 617 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, it's Ivan, man. Who's there? Who's the dude that was talking about the Chinese people that they're singing the American anthem? Is that the Mason Lucas?
No, that was Magnificent.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe he need a history lesson. You need to watch PBS during the Vietnam War. I guess you need to watch that. When college kids were burning American flags, nobody calling them patriotic at that time. But I don't want to talk about that.
What are you talking about, though? Like, wow, that was just unrelated. It had nothing to do with anything.
Well, it's related because he said they should come here because this some of the NFL players, most of them black, were taking the knee and they're unpatriotic. Like I said, during the Vietnam War in 1960s, they were burning flags for maybe 3 years straight during the Vietnam War until before they started Nixon started bringing the guys back and they settled in. But they were burning American flag left and right. The American soldiers were throwing their medals. It was a disaster.
Nah, we're talking about hold on. We're talking about San Francisco Bay Area, all the commies that live there, all the crazies that live there.
There's no communists.
It's like okay. I'm gonna finish my statement since it's my show. It's like, look, rather than just having these people be over there, let's exchange San Fran, the whole Bay Area, throw that whole thing away, trade it to China for Hong Kong, since they seem to be more patriotic and loving of America than these citizens here right now today. And since they love communism so much, they can enjoy that in China, where you have communism every day right in front of your face. But go ahead. Okay, go ahead. All right, that's nice, but go ahead.
But you should watch that. You should watch how emboldened and how they were demonstrating about how they were upset about the government. Doesn't mean because you burn a flag doesn't mean you hate your country. That means that you upset at that particular moment for something that the government is doing, especially when they lie about the Vietnam War. So I want to move forward. Okay. The President of the United States retweeted a tweet about this kid, some guy, I guess it was like some Republican, or about that Clinton were responsible, or there were...
My man Terrence. Shout to my man Terrence. I know Terrence.
Okay, I know you guys all entertainment and trying to make some money. I understand. I understand. This is the time to be a black.
Okay, get to your point, sir. Get to your point.
Okay,
sir, get to your point. I don't got time for all this stuff.
This is the thing, though. Is the President of the United States is retweeting what a tweet was from the average Joe, and he acting like the average Joe president when he's the President of the United States, right? So is the President of the United States retweeting about something that he doesn't have any evidence. He get 3 million tweets in base of that retweet that he did, but he's the President of the United States. So that means he's the president. I think he could go and talk to he could get the Justice Department. He could get the FBI, send them to that prison in New York, and figure out what happened. I think he could do that, right? Don't you think he had the ability to send the Justice Department there, the FBI, to do a check-up down to what happened and then figure out what happened and then he could make a statement, or why you retweet something. Even you don't tweet it, but you.
So what is your point? Get to the point. I don't have all day.
That this dude, that proves you that it's not fair to become president. It's not a good fit to become president.
Okay, so basically, so Trump retweeted a thing that everybody in America was thinking about. Like, the whole thing was fishy. What's really going on? It doesn't make any sense. Who's involved? The whole thing, it stunk from the beginning. And the official story seems crazy. If you were to say the official story from the very beginning, it'd probably be called a conspiracy theory because of how crazy it was. You got two guys, quote unquote, sleeping at the same time for 3 hours. The camera ain't working. You got a substitute guard. The whole thing just was crazy from the official story. So it was not just the president who said that or Terrence.
But the president.
I'm not done talking. I'm not done talking, sir. It was not just the president or Terrence. It was everybody, the left, the right, the center. Everybody was like, the whole thing was fishy and what's really going on. And what Terrence said in the video was like, look, I don't really know what's going on. This could be the case, but I'm just trying to figure out what's really happening, as all of us were. So, I mean, I support Terrence and what he said because it made sense.
I don't have any problem with the average person retweeting and talking nonsense, because this the average person.
Why was it nonsense?
Much weight.
Why was it nonsense?
Well, the nonsense is from the president.
No. But I'm talking about what was said, sir. I'm talking about what was said. Why is what was said nonsense?
Well, I mean, I don't have any problem with what you said because you're an opinion guy. All you guys are opinion guys, and you're trying.
But sir, but my question is, why was it nonsense?
From the president to retweet, that is the nonsense. I don't
why?
know if it's true. Because why you want to retweet when you have the ability to get him to you have the power.
All he was saying sir, all he was saying. Okay, all he was saying, you're muted again. All he was saying is that he's just trying to get to the bottom of it like everybody else. So it was not nonsense. It was just what all Americans were thinking. See, that's the thing about Trump. That's the thing about Trump, and nobody can hear you again because you're still trying to talk. But anyway, that's the thing about Trump. He relates to people in a very kind of common way, which is why people like him and why they're going to vote for him again.
Yeah. The average person.
But now you're on me to go ahead.
That I'm on now.
All right, go ahead. Sir, continue.
Okay. So you saying you like the average president, the average Joe being the president of the United States. So don't you think it should be elevated a little bit higher? Think critical thinking, so people think a little bit higher. Don't you think it's critical thinking skills should be a little bit higher, not that the average person?
I mean, what do you mean higher? That? Like higher according to what?
Higher in the sense that why you retweet something that someone.
All right, I think I already explained that. So you can get to your next point, or I can get to the next caller.
Pretty much. That's the problem with America.
Okay, all right.
We are becoming more vulnerable to stupidity.
All right. Thank you for the call.
All right, see you, man. See you.
See, that was okay. He actually kind of hung up on his own. I had to hang up on him again. But thank Ivan for the call. I appreciate him. Let me get to my next call here. And the phone lines are jumping, so I'm going to try to get to everybody I can ASAP. You guys just hang tight. All right, who we have? We got Nolo King. What's going on?
Hey, man, what's up? Long time no talk.
Yeah, man, it's been a while. How's everything?
Pretty good. I just came from SummerSlam. SummerSlam weekend. It was awesome, man.
I bet it was, man. I was seeing that all over Twitter, man. I know it was a blast.
Yeah, I went for SummerSlam, Raw, SmackDown. I had a 235-pound guy thrown my way. It was pretty sweet, man. Yeah, so, I mentioned it in the chat, but there was a hoax here in Canada, a racial hoax. So there was a video of a lady holding a sign for Andrew Scheer. He'll probably be the next prime minister, and he's conservative. And she was saying a whole bunch of racist slurs and stuff, right? So CBC, they reported it. It was, a big news story. But the more people started digging into her history, they saw that she was also a social justice warrior. She was a journalist for some leftist newspapers, right? And the thing is, CBC was kind of skirting away from the story now. Now that the truth came out, that most likely she's just making that up, trying to make the prime minister look racist and all that.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So basically, they were exposing her past as a leftist.
Yeah.
They don't want to
There
talk
was this
about that.
whole elaborate video where someone was tweeting saying, "Look at this crazy lady. She's got an Andrew Scheer sign, and she's saying all these racist things." Right? She was like a caricature of what you would think of a racist person.
Oh, matter of fact, I did see that. Matter of fact, yeah, she had like this blue outfit or something.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I
this
saw
hat.
that. Yeah, that was crazy.
And-
You know, that's how it always is, though. It's always somebody on the left trying to make up something. Like anytime I see a swastika drawn as some kind of graffiti, it's always a leftist talking about F Trump, and then they draw a swastika. It's like, okay, who's the racist, who's not? I can't really tell.
Yeah, it's just really it's sad. And one last thing I just wanted to ask you is about Trump. Is he has a lot of these rallies, and I watch them, and they're very self-congratulatory. And one thing, even though I don't like Trudeau, one thing I like that he does is he goes to these open forums where he takes questions and he gets grilled, and it makes most of the time he ends up looking like an idiot. But I wonder what you think about, because I was kind of disappointed when I saw Trump with Turning Point USA. One of the reasons I got into them is because they get people from the left to come in and they challenge them, right? Mm-hmm. So what's your opinion on Trump doing a similar thing where he can convert a lot of people from the left to have a discussion with him? Because I've tried to go into chat rooms like your show for people on the left, and as soon as I disagree with them, they call me a Russian bot and a troll, and I'm banned like as soon as I come in. But I find with shows like you had that guy Ivan. Even though I don't necessarily agree, it's good because we're getting people on the left to engage with us. So I'm just wondering what your opinion is about Trump doing the same thing.
Well, I mean, I'm not really sure what can be done. I mean, he has a rally. You could be in there as a leftist if you want to. It's open to everybody. Same thing with Turning Point. You could be in there if you're on the left if you want to. But the issue is trying to get people on the left more open-minded to even hear the message. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Because I've been to a Trump rally before. Well, I've been to 2 Trump rallies. I went to one at the White House at Turning Point, and then I went to one out here in my town where I live, like 10,000 people deep. And it was all kind of folks in the crowd. We were talking to this gay married couple, 2 dudes, different ethnicities, young, old. It was everybody there. So it's open to everybody, and everybody was welcome. It was no kind of hate
but
going on.
But I mean actually engaging with the president and not just being in attendance.
Okay, well, I'm not really sure how you're going to do that. Yeah, I'm not really sure. That might be something he could do, but I'm not really sure how that would happen. I mean, that's a good idea, but I'm not really sure how it would actually take place.
Trudeau does it. Like what he does is he screens people, obviously, but there are people who disagree with him, and then they'll ask questions. And it's actually hurt Trudeau's presidential run because he had a veteran say, "How dare you say you don't have enough money for us veterans?" Because he said that before and he got grilled on that, right? But yeah. I just think because we're living in 2 different realities, I find, with the left and the right. So I just thought maybe it would be good because if you watch the rallies, if you've seen 1 or 2, you're not going to see anything new. He's going to go on about the economy and all that other stuff.
Yeah, you're right. So, I mean, that might be a good idea.
Yeah. Well, anyway, it was a pleasure talking to you. I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you had a headache with the last caller, so hopefully things go smooth.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right. Yeah, peace.
Peace. All right. Yeah, that's a good idea. Have like a sit-down forum. Yeah, but see, yeah, you got to screen people and screen them well. I'm talking about do a background check, all that stuff, because you're going to have some crazy leftists in there. They're going to try to infiltrate the situation and just interrupt. Yeah. So, yeah, that's a good point. Thank you to my man Nolo King for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Let me get to my next call here. 571, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Anthony. My name is Nicholas. I called last week or something. I'm that Greek guy. So, a couple of things that I had on my mind. First of all, thanks for pointing out about the flags behind you. That was great. I wanted to ask you about that. The second one has to do with Fredo, Alfredo, and all that stuff. Yeah, well, I love Alfredo, and we had a really awesome restaurant back in West Virginia. That was really, really awesome food. But
oh, really? What part? Really what part of West Virginia?
In Charlestown.
Oh yeah, that's I was born in Charleston.
Oh, dude. You're my man. No, sadly, I'm in Delaware, but
Do,
I'm
do,
West
do you know
Virginian by
about do you know
heart.
about do you know about Rand?
Uh,
The town is like right
no.
down the river. Yeah, so like right down the river, like about 15 minutes away, it's a town called Rand. Also Bell, DuPont City, all of that. Yeah, that's where I lived.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Hey, there you go. I'm the Gredneck, as they call it, the Greek redneck. So,
There we go.
you're my West Virginia buddy.
Yeah.
So what I was trying to say with the Fredo, okay, I mentioned that I'm Greek. The actual root of the word Greek is Greco, and that means slave in Turkish. So if you have a whole country that they're called Greeks and we just brush it off, we don't really care, then how can you not brush off something like Fredo, which comes from a movie of all places, right?
Right.
People should be a little bit critical in their thinking as to why this was escalated to all this brouhaha. And you discussed this a little bit earlier. Perhaps it was ratings and so on and so forth. I'm a firm believer that the old media is dying completely. Models like the one that you are using, where people sponsor your content with super chats or T-shirts. By the way, I did get my Betsy Ross 1776 T-shirts, so that you know. So people that support you as a content creator and they want to hear what you have to say, that's the model that we're going forward. CNN and any CNN will very soon die. And if it weren't for what you mentioned earlier, airports and all that stuff, or the coasts, and I'm using that to get to my second point, the coasts usually watch CNN and MSNBC and all that stuff. And that's why you see a lot of division and a lot of polarization towards the coast. And I'm talking about East Coast and West Coast. You would see New York, D.C., San Francisco, and all that stuff. The rest of the country we're pretty much okay. We just see our neighbor, we wave, they come over, they have dinner, we go to their place, they have dinner. Politics is not what we do. We just live our lives. We love our neighbors, they love us, and so on and so forth. So for all this division to come from this media and all these brouhaha and case in point Fredo, they really need the ratings. They really need to do all this mockery, of the populace trying to divide everybody, because everybody is an American here, right? Case in point, China and Hong Kong. These guys aspire to become Americans, and we do not appreciate what we have, and we try to fight with each other. How does that work? Final point, just food for thought. There's a gentleman who also lives in West Virginia, believe it or not. His name is Lloyd Marcus, and he moved from Florida to Paw Paw in West Virginia.
Wow.
And he was actually, I don't know if you ever heard of him, but I follow his blog religiously. He made an argument, what would happen if Trump loses in 2020. The article is back from March, but he was saying that, we're one of 10 black families here in Paw Paw. And you know what we see? We just see our neighbor, that they brought us a welcome basket. We're having fun with this other neighbor. We help each other. So that's real America. There's no racism. There's no division. And of course, saying there's no racism, it's not that I'm discarding the fact that it does exist, but it doesn't exist in the elevated levels that certain people from the media want us to believe that exists. We just love each other, and that's pretty much it. If we were racist, right, then under that argument, the only people that would watch your channel would have been black, or the only people that would watch my channel would have been white, right? So, much love to everybody. Thank you very much for taking my phone call, and have a blessed evening.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. Coming from West Virginia. He stayed there for a while. Hey, yeah, my home. And shout out to Paul, West Virginia. There's a place called, it's in the northern part. It's closer to like the DC area, like the Panhandle. Paul, P-A-W, West Virginia, 100%. And shout out to everybody through the super chats. I'll get to you guys right now before we get to the next call. And the number to call is 434-658-1220. Thank you to Jonestown Autopsy, who says it's all fun and games until Fredo throws someone down the stairs. Hashtag loose cannon. Hashtag Fredo Don Lemon's boo. Thank you for your donation, man. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to Jonestown Autopsy again, who says at Nip and Sharma, I don't want to burn bras, but if women do, I'm not stopping them. Thank you for that. Shout out to Julie Nelson, who says thank you for speaking the truth. I love you. Well, thank you for your donation. Most certainly appreciate you. Thank you to Miss Novak, who says eventually we have to accept that these deaths are not coincidental. What is wrong with this caller? It is critical thinking to question the story. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate it. She's talking about Ivan, saying that it's like ridiculous to talk about how he died and what's really going on. Shout out to my man Andre Hatchett for your donation. I appreciate you, boss. Thank you to Jonestown Autopsy again, who says, what's in the name? No president will ever be named Hickenlooper. Thank you for that. Thank you to Miss Novak, who says, yes, let's swap them. The protesters in Hong Kong appreciate freedom 1,000%. Absolutely. Thank you for your donation. Shout out to Blind Brains 193, who says, FBI raid seizes Epstein's computer. Not true. The computer was removed a few days before the raid. Drone footage proves it. Authorities failed to raid all properties immediately. Evidence gone. Well, if that computer is gone and the feds don't have it, they're not going to have it. But thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to Jonestown Autopsy, who says, shout out to the mods who don't boot me for unrelentlessly bashing Fredo all night long. Here's your cookie. Thank you for that. Thank you to Stacy Goldberger, who says Epstein told his lawyer he'd see him on Monday. Well, you couldn't make it, but thank you for that. Thank you to Jess for your donation. I appreciate it. Thank you to Julie Nelson, who says keep up the great coverage, if all. And I appreciate you for your donation. I most certainly appreciate it. Thank you to G. Carjala, who says Thunderbolt and Lightning very, very frightening me. Hey, man, hopefully everything's good. And again, Jonestown Autopsy, who says Scaramouche, will you do the Fandango? Alrighty, let me get to my next calls. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. I'm going to try to get everybody on as soon as I can. All right, caller, who do we have?
Hello, this is Governor Cuomo, Andrew Cuomo, inviting you to see the beauty of New York State this summer and make all of your dreams of the perfect getaway get finally. Damn, these lines are hard. You can see the Catskills, or why not a jaunty, lively trip to Finger Lakes wine country near Buffalo, or maybe the Poconos, where you can rent a cabin. Wait a second, Poconos is in Pennsylvania. We can't make money off of that. Anyway, this is really the governor, and I'd like to invite you to New York State.
Yeah, thank you for the invitation. I mean, what do I owe this invitation to? I mean, I'm not, like, where are we going to go? What are we going to do? What's the purpose? I mean, I don't really understand.
Look, I can't make these decisions for you. To tell you the truth, too many of my aides have already been convicted of corruption charges, and the Tourism Bureau is short on staff, so they're having me cover the calls. So there's not much more for me to add.
Okay. Yeah, so one thing I got to say to you right now, since I got you on the phone, if I go to New York State, you got to promise me one thing. Keep your brother in the yard chained up. I'm not trying to get bit, because it was a whole lot of barking going on at that bar where you almost threw the guy down the stairs. Just keep him away from me so I can be safe, and then I come to New York State and we can have a blast.
Look, sir, I don't know who you are, but I'm just trying to do my job tonight. Mr. Chris, my little brother, he's a very sensitive person, and it is unbecoming of a person to use an ethnic slur against him unless you are myself or my sister Megan or my sister Madeline or any of the other Cuomo siblings.
Oh, okay, so it's a family thing. You can't say it unless you are part of the family. You can't just be a regular Italian and say it. It'll still be a ethnic slur.
Well, I mean, you didn't grow up in Albany with us in the governor's mansion, so obviously, you have a certain privilege that the rest of us don't. It was a very rough upbringing, following our father around the country, having to go to the '84 convention and watch him, give the eulogy for our party against Reagan. So, we had to live through more than you did, and to tell you the truth, I mean, we used to call him much worse things.
Okay, so your governor Mario, your father, Governor Mario Cuomo, it was rough living in the governor's mansion, just running around, having maids, just playing, doing whatever you want to do. It was rough living like that. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, running around. There's not always fresh eggplant parmesan on the stove. Sometimes you have to go over to the commissary and have one of the state police officers lend you quarters for the vending machine and stuff. It's rough stuff.
Yeah, it seems extremely rough. I don't know how you were able to cope.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's ridiculous, and I think I will have a word with Chris. My friend. I haven't even asked you your name or whether you voted or contributed to the Cuomo gubernatorial campaigns. Obviously, visiting New York State is in one way a way to do that. But I will have a word with Chris about his behavior, because if he doesn't shape up, there's another name we can call him that's even worse than Fredo.
Yeah, tell him to tighten up, because I feared for that guy's safety. I ain't want him to get beat up and thrown down the stairs, because that could be very bad. You got something about broken back, broken leg. So I wanted him to be good, and Chris Cuomo was out of control. I mean, Trump said that he may say a red flag law should apply to him. He shouldn't have a gun. What do you think about that? Should your little brother be able to have a gun, considering how out of control he was during that particular moment at the bar?
Look, I mean, should he have a gun? Should he not have a gun? I mean, it depends what type of workplace environment he has at CNN. Sometimes you have people at CNN, you're having a drink at the bar downstairs. I don't know why you have a bar at work. And one of your co-workers walks by, puts his hand down in pants, and shoves your fingers in his face.
Whoa. You're talking about Don Lemon right there. I mean,
I'm not going to get into specifics. This is a tourism call.
Yeah.
But, I see we have a certain chemistry, and you might book a cabin in the Catskills. So, I mean, it's ridiculous. Chris, he has to show up for the family. Otherwise, we're going to call him what he really should be called with this type of behavior, Mayor de Blasio.
Yeah, that's a very bad name to get called right now in New York State, especially New York City, because he is widely hated. Yeah, so I'm with you on that one for sure.
Yeah, I practically run that place right now. So anyway, how many nights can we put you down for?
Yeah, don't do that right now. I'll have my people get in contact with you. We can work all that out off the air. But right now, I think I'm good. We'll talk about that in a different point in time.
Okay, have a good night, sir.
All right, now. Thank you for the call.
Bye-bye.
All right, so yeah, that was really Governor Andrew Cuomo of New York calling in. I have, some celebrities that call in every now and again, and that was one of them. So shout out to Governor Cuomo for calling in and blessing the ABL live show. Hopefully you tighten up your little brother, Chris, get him under control, put a leash on him, and yeah, that's pretty much that. And Bill de Blasio gotta go. I don't know if you can do anything, if you can get him fired, resigned, whatever, but tell him to tighten up and do right. But let me get to the next call here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. 228, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hello, who's this?
Yeah, this is Anthony Brian Logan. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, hello, this is Valerie. I just called to tell you I got a cousin named Fredo. So you got something against Fredo or what?
No, not at all.
Yeah. Oh, well, no, really what I wanted to say is I never heard of such a thing. I'm Italian American, and I never heard that Fredo was an insult. Now Dago, that's another thing. You heard the term Dago, haven't you?
Yeah, I heard Dago and also WAP. I heard those were offensive terms, but
Yeah.
never Fredo.
Dago ain't an official term. Dago is, you know the difference between Italian American and a Dago? $10,000 in the bank. That's a joke, but I mean, but and WAP, you know where the term WAP comes from?
Without passport.
It comes from Ellis Island. The people in Ellis Island would go around and ask for papers, and the ones who didn't have papers would put a tag on that said "without papers," WOP. You know, that's where WAP come from. They came without papers.
Okay.
You know, but as far as Fredo, I ain't never heard Fredo be an insult. It's a name, that's all it is. Or it's a really good sauce. Alfredo sauce, that's really good, but I've never heard of Fredo being an insult. And Chris Cuomo, his show is lagging in ratings, and I think he did that to get publicity. That's all it is. He wants to get his name in the papers, that's all.
Yeah, that's what it seems like. I didn't think about that angle at first, but it makes sense, you know, because he knows he's being recorded. If he can just act crazy and get it online, have it go viral, he'll get a little bit of a boost to his show. Yeah, so it makes sense.
Yeah, well, his show ain't going nowhere. He can act crazy all at once. People don't like his show. They don't like him. And that's all there is to it. You know,
Right.
he just don't, nobody likes him. I know I don't. And as far as Fredo, like I said, all Fredo is a name. It's short for Alfredo, or it's a sauce, a delicious sauce. And that's all there is. You never ate no Alfredo sauce? That's good eating with clam.
it's delicious. I love it.
Yeah, that's what Fredo means to me, a good sauce. Okay, that's all I wanted to say.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Okay, bye-bye. You have a good night.
Same to you now.
Okay, bye.
Yeah, that's a good point. Shout out to Alfredo sauce. Shout out to fettuccine. Hey, if you make some good fettuccine Alfredo, then we good. I was mad. I had some bad fettuccine Alfredo from the store. Like they had some kind of pre-made stuff in the front, like in a little package. You put it in the microwave and heat it up. It was nowhere. You know, go to one of these Greek spots or the Italian spots and get some real Alfredo. Then you good money. But let me get to the next call. I'm getting hungry over here talking about food.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Nico, what's happening?
Crap. Sorry. I'm actually packing right now because I'm actually moving tomorrow.
Oh wow, where you headed?
I'm actually going to be living outside because I'm actually living outside of the East Bay Area.
Oh, okay.
It's going to be a pretty rural area. It's a really small rural town, but it's just outside the East Bay Area.
Okay, I got you.
Yeah, so I'm just packing up. But I gotta say, there's a lot of interesting things going on. I just gotta say, first off, Anthony, remember that Democrat? I know it's a bit dated on this, but you know that Democrat Socialist Convention?
Yeah, with the whole jazz hands thing.
Well, remember when that guy said he said he has autism, and he says if you clap, he gets sensory overload.
Yeah.
Here, do this. I have autism, Anthony. Your turn.
All right.
See, I mean,
You're fine.
have autism, and nothing happened.
Right.
I kind of said that over, but I'm just saying that people are different, and at least I know not to behave like that out in the public. Although admit I have had a sensory overload, well, like an information overload, because my mind sometimes goes in different directions all at once. But that's another story.
Right.
You get the idea? But at least I dropped out, and I actually, even in California where we have high minimum wage laws, I actually had experience in jobs that pay more than California's minimum wage. And I don't have a college degree.
There you go. You got these guys over here with probably plenty of degrees, and they're not really adjusting to society very well.
No, but you know what's even okay, but jokes aside, I just want to say something about Chris Cuomo. I guess you could say the WAP got whopped.
Wow.
Hey, I mean, you might say that's racist, but then again, CNN said you can't be racist towards white people, right? And Italians, are like, right?
That's what I heard. That's exactly what I heard.
Yeah, but you know what? Because since you're a black conservative, I know I don't like to go on identity politics, but if you happen to go to New York City and you happen to go into these conventions, and all of a sudden you happen to see CNN or happen to see Chris Cuomo come to the White House or come to these black conventions, play the devil's advocate, Anthony, and start like judging him like that. Not because you're racist, but just give him a taste of it. If you're obsessed with race, why not judge them by their race?
Hey, if you want it, we can give it. That's all I'm saying. If you want to have this whole thing be about race, then it won't be no problem.
Oh yeah, and you know what's even funnier? Growing up, because people used to call me Night Wolf. I mean, people still call me Night Wolf to this day. And if you know the character Night Wolf, the Native American guy from Mortal Kombat.
I don't remember that because by that time I was kind of like beyond Mortal Kombat, so
Yeah.
I never seen that character.
No, I mean he's the Native American guy from Mortal Kombat. People used to call me Night Wolf.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah, but strangely, I actually never actually got offended by it. Strangely, because I'm not even because people actually mistaken me for being Native American.
Right. You're not so sensitive to where you just get offended by little things like that.
No, I'm not. And speaking of that, I was just thinking of a Yang. You know what happened with Andrew Yang when he was crying?
Yeah.
You know this thing? I know I was thinking about this with racism, but have you ever seen this movie called Gran Torino with Clint Eastwood?
I've not seen that.
It's about basically it's Clint Eastwood. It's basically Clint Eastwood in formerly working class neighborhood with these Asian immigrants, and basically he's actually openly very prejudiced towards Asians, but as time progresses, he's trying to show this Asian kid how to be a man.
Oh, okay.
He's kind of like so shy and emasculated, and he's openly prejudiced. I'm thinking somebody get Clint Eastwood to mentor this dude.
Yeah, really.
It's on Netflix right now. Go look it up.
Okay.
Yeah, but and I also want to say is that with with the Jeffrey Epstein case, they actually said this that when I think about it, I think this whole scenario is actually a mix of The Wolf of Wall Street and The Godfather.
Oh, really?
Have you actually seen Wolf of Wall Street?
I did see that. Yes.
Leonardo DiCaprio, and basically his cronies start getting caught up in all the sex and the drugs and other scandals, and then you have the FBI that's sort of closing in on them.
Yeah.
Kind of what reminds me of. Even with Jeffrey Epstein gone, this might steer it away for a second, but eventually this is still going to keep on closing on these people he almost snitched on. It's going to happen.
Definitely, because there's a lot of evidence out there that's going to be used against them.
Oh yeah. But that's pretty much all I gotta say, Anthony. I'm gonna continue packing right here. You have a nice day.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right.
All right. Thank you to my man Nico for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. Always a great supporter of the show. And you guys know the drill. The number to call is 434-658-1220. Do not be afraid to call. I'm gonna try to get everybody on as soon as I can. All right, call you on the line 317. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, Jerry Pearson.
All righty, what's going on?
All right, about you, buddy. I appreciate listening to you every day. I wanted to let you know, I mean, I don't want to jump on the race or anything, sir, but I wanted you to know my best friend's a black dude back from 12 years old, and we got in a fight, and then the next day, we were like best friends, and we've been that way ever since. I only see him once a year, and I really dig, listening to you, and you have such a perfect point of view. I mean, it's just excellent, and you judge it for what it is, and I want you to know I appreciate you and the other, a lot of other ones, David Harris Jr. and John Miller and even Jericho Green and all kinds of badass black dudes, man. So I appreciate talking with you, and sorry about the that word.
Oh, no, man, it's all good. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
God bless you, sir.
All right, thank you. All right, shout out to the caller. God bless him. Thank you for the call. I most certainly appreciate him. All right, let me get to my next call here. The number to call is 434-658-1220. And let's get to 619. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
God bless you, sir.
Hi, Anthony. This is Tom from San Diego.
I'm
a little disappointed that I couldn't directly follow the renowned governor of New York, but your other callers were outstanding as well. I just want to talk briefly about this notion of white supremacy, because the Democrats keep pushing it. As both a Trump supporter and a white man who's been happily married to a black woman for over 22 years, I find the notion particularly dangerous and about as un-American as you can get. And I would like to just briefly suggest an experiment you could do. Go on YouTube and search two names, Simone Biles and Thomas Sowell. Now, it wouldn't seem like they have much in common other than that they're African-American, but I think they have a lot in common, and I think it's kind of what Donald Trump's whole campaign and presidency is really all about. Simone Biles is probably she is the greatest female gymnast that ever lived. She may be the greatest gymnast that ever lived. She's 22 years old. She's only 4'8", but she has so much talent and class. She's just absolutely amazing. And then you have Thomas Sowell, who's in his late 80s. He's with the Hoover Institute at Stanford. And I would say if you listen to him for 5 minutes, he's had some great conversations with Larry Elder. You will hear more common sense and wisdom than all the talking heads and editorial people at MSNBC and CNN. If you listen to them for a week, he's just amazing. And one of the things that he said that I found interesting was that when he grew up in Harlem in the 1930s and 40s, when racism was much, much worse than it is now, he never even heard a gunshot. And I think that says something about what's happened in urban America, which has been basically controlled by the Democratic Party for 60 years. And I mention all this because it's like my wife Sharon always says, you can do anything in this country. You can do anything in America if you work hard and if you're smart. And these are just two examples. We can't all be like them, but we can all reach our goals and accomplish and have successful, happy lives and accomplish our goals if we remember this. And I think that's the message of Donald Trump. Have a great night. Great show as always. And I want to say to you, we here in San Diego appreciate you. Have a great night. Bye-bye.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you. All right. Great call. I really appreciate the very kind words from you guys tonight on the line. And if you guys don't know the number to call is 434-658-1220. I'm going to try to get everybody on as soon as I can. You guys just hang tight. Let's go to 240. You're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
It's your boy, JB. What's up, brother?
Everything's good, man. What's happening?
Man, I used to mean you guys racist where everything's racist now. Everything.
Yeah, it's old.
Racist.
It's like a joke at this point. Everything's racist. The sun, moon, and stars, racist. Heat is racist. Cold is racist. Everything.
Yes. Exactly, and it's always offensive to women. And I'm getting tired of everything they're talking about. All the love talking points is crazy. And I had an argument with somebody about the last debate. I said, look, they're attacking Obama because they don't want Joe Biden to win, because they're trying to push this socialism narrative, but America doesn't want it, so they're trying to force it on America.
Right, exactly.
And then I also got an argument with somebody. I said, well, illegals, they deserve rights. No, they don't. They're illegals. I can't go to Panama and force my way in there. Could I? No. I can't go to Mexico and force my way in there and demand rights. No. But they can come here and enforce their rights here. And I was trying to explain, but I said, you guys don't get it. You're fighting for your replacements. You are fighting for your replacements. Get over it, black people. We should not be fighting people who's going to replace us.
It's like, okay, you're working at a job, and then you about to get fired, and they're telling you, we need you to train your replacement. Ain't nobody really trying to do that, but you got a lot of black folks that are fighting for the chance to train the replacement, give up your house, give up your car, all of that, so they can have it. It doesn't make any sense.
Exactly, and then things with men, it's the same people on welfare talking about, well, they deserve rights. No, they don't. They're gonna take your benefits. They're getting benefits way faster than you ever will, and they don't understand. I said, okay, people, y'all keep going, keep pushing this sorry narrative that hey, they're our friends when they're really not. They're coming to take over them, and the Democrats know they're losing the black vote, and they know they are losing voters so badly. So they're trying to do it. They're trying to get the LGBT crew, trying to get pedophilia. They're trying to get anybody that's going to join their team to become Democrats.
That's right.
Am I right?
100%.
And then I said, and then I had this one lady get mad because I said I made a post about abortion. I said, your body, your choice. You should have made a better choice about giving up raw sex, and then they got mad. And I'm like, well, you can't. Well, then you played a role. You can't blame men, and I'm sick of society always blaming men for everything.
Right, exactly. Exactly, because at a certain point, you got your own body to do with, your own personal responsibility. Where does that play into the whole situation?
Exactly, but you always say, my body, my choice. Okay, then stop giving your body everybody, Tom, Dick, and Harry. And that's the thing people don't understand. I'm like, the women have all the power in that situation. You can say, hey, put a condom on. Excuse my language, I shouldn't say that out loud, but you know what I'm saying, right, ABL?
Yeah.
And I don't care anybody say Stevie Wonder was watching Epstein. I think it was Stevie Wonder watching him, because no way in hell. This is
for real.
The Clintons asked everybody. Okay. The Clintons ain't on it. I think they set it up, don't you?
I mean, that's what it seems like, because there's too many coincidences. You got both of these guys, so-called, watching them taking a nap for 3 hours at the same time for 3 hours. Nobody's watching them. And then there was a cellmate that he had. They took the cellmate out right before he killed himself. He was on suicide watch. Then ended that. So it was like everything was lining up just for him to actually hurt himself, and he did it. And then everybody's like, okay, what's going on? And people are trying to say, don't float a conspiracy theory. Well, what are we going to do? Like, obviously, something ain't right. The Clintons are probably the prime suspects in the whole situation, because they're closest to him.
Exactly. And the thing about it is, some tell me that their daughter's going to try to make a run for 24. How much you want to bet?
I wouldn't doubt it. She's probably already trying to go out there and say a few things and just, put some feelers out there. I wouldn't doubt it.
But yeah, but everybody he puts Kamala Harris is never going to win. Warren's never going to win. Pocahontas never going to win. Everybody they're putting out there is not going to win for socialism. They're all pushing the same narrative, and people don't want that. And Americans don't want socialism. America don't want them to be overran by Spanish people. And it's the truth. They don't. And the Democratic Party is trying to push this because they know they're losing the grip on everybody. Am I right?
You're right.
Oh, another issue is, hey, how far are you in Days Gone?
I think I'm at the part where the girl had got kidnapped from the camp.
Oh, with the guy who's shooting drugs and everything, and is bald headed.
Yeah.
Oh man, it's a lot of twists. All I'm gonna say to you is, man, in certain parts of that game, touch your heart a little bit. When I ain't gonna tell you anything. Let's just say there's a big twist to it, and it's gonna make you shocker.
Okay, all right.
All right, brother, man. Have a nice one, man. Peace, love, and joy, courage. Thanks for taking my call.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, peace.
Peace. Thank you to my man JB for the call. Let me get to the next one. All right, call you on the line, 737. Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is the caller who has been in the comment section pressing out to call you. Hold on, let me find a quiet place. I'm in the gym.
All right.
Can you give me 1 second? And by the way, I don't blame you. I blame my phone's data. It's been giving me constant messages weekly about, oh, your phone's data is dropping out by 1 gigabyte. I think that's more to play than Skype being overloaded. Anyways, can you still hear me?
I hear you well.
All right. So I've been having some thought battles lately in my head, some thought experiments, and I wanted to ask you, in your very own opinion, does oppression still exist in the modern world?
That's a deep question. You're talking about the entire world? I think in some parts of the world it does, but in America, I don't think so. But in some parts of the world, like third world, of course.
Okay. Well, and I'm going to give my side of the argument. So the thought experiments go that, in my opinion, oppression does not exist because it requires literal governmental or legal intervention, let's put it, right? And then, I mean, I'm not going to argue that there isn't some, I guess you could say we may have institutionalization, but I think oppression is a bit extreme to say that, to put it the least. You get where I'm going from, right?
Well, I mean, I don't know. Like, I think it depends on where you are in the world, because the world is a really big place. There's a lot of different places, a lot of different communities, and different things that go on the governmental level. I mean, like, you go to the Middle East, like you go to Iran, it is called officially the Islamic Republic of Iran. Like, it's based on Islam. So in Islam, especially when they're form of it over there, it is oppressive by nature. So things like that, I gotta say it's oppressive. But over here in the States, I'm not sure if there's any examples of racism on a governmental level.
Exactly. I mean, because here's the thing. I've been talking about this with so many other YouTubers in the comment section, right? And they agree that, oppression, anyone who still uses the word, kind of needs to get on with the political game. I mean, how can you say oppression exists if there's no like, okay, someone is being mobbed by a hate group. I'm not going to say that isn't a hate crime, but that's just a hate crime, because are the hate groups being funded by the government?
Well, yeah, I mean, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
And so it's I think it's just an interesting thought experiment. I want to question anyone who still uses either the words oppression and exploitation. Now, sure, the Middle East and North Korea, those are very oppressive countries, but I mean, I'm talking about more modernized first world countries. There really isn't any government agency, that's against the law,
Well, now, I think America is probably the only place in the world that doesn't have that, or it's one of the few places that doesn't really have that kind of oppression on a legal sense. Because you go to Europe, I mean, you see what's happening right now with the Islamic invasion. A lot of these countries, you're being oppressed by the government because they're allowing them to come in and they're giving them more rights than you. They're not prosecuting people that come over here and commit crimes against you as a citizen of that country, and you're treated differently. So I think in some of these countries, it exists over there on a governmental level. Not all, but some, and definitely in the third world. But in America, no. There are some countries there are some places that are able to defend themselves and protect their citizens, and some places can't. So I think in that situation, you could say it's oppression on the governmental level because they're not protecting their citizens like the way they should.
Mm-hmm. Yep, because it's if you think about it, the word is so outdated. Like, what year are we living again? Are we living in 2019 or the 1800s?
Yeah,
and
right.
Also, anyone who actually questions that, why would they vote for big government in the first place? Do they not know big government is like a huge driving force behind oppression?
I mean, they should understand that, because they should understand that slavery, that was under the government in America. So they should understand that, but people just don't get it. They think that if they vote for the correct person who's going to talk about big government, that it'll fix things, but they don't understand history. They don't understand what really happened. They're just ignorant politically.
Because if I recall, it wasn't the big government that was a help. It was the people themselves. Who started the social activist groups? The people themselves, not the government. The government didn't fund anything. And,
right, of course.
It's just like I said, having the thought battles. I want to question anyone who still uses such a word, because I think the importance is they don't realize they're making a word lose its credibility. Like, I mean, if you want to talk literal oppression, go to a third world, go to even a European country. I mean, in the Middle East, you can't even identify as how do you say it? If you're disabled in the Middle East, they don't even allow you to live. They just throw you under what do you call those? It's like an abortion clinic, but I think it's less clinical. They just straight up, kind of like in the old days. What do they call? They had them in ancient Greece.
The guillotine.
Yeah.
Wow, really? They chop your head off? Wow.
Yep. So I
That's
mean,
crazy.
Forget women's rights, forget gay rights. I mean, they even do that. But you have the gut to tell me America is an exploitative and oppressive country? Should we just give them a dose of reality?
Hey, that's a very good point, man. But I thank you for your call. I definitely appreciate you.
Definitely. Anytime.
All right, now. All right, shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate him. Yeah, that was a good conversation about the oppression situation. Yeah, we don't have that here in the States. It just ain't there. People are trying to implement oppressive laws with the whole you got to bake the cake thing. You know, the gay wedding cake, you got to do that. You know, you're forcing somebody to do a thing that they don't want to do for whatever reason they want to do it. And it's on a whole different level in Canada where you have this man calling himself Jessica talking about, oh, well, you know what? I need a bikini wax, but guess what? It's a surprise in my pants. And if you don't want to deal with that object, that foreign object is right there, then you are a bigot. You're transphobic. It's like, look, sir, I don't want to do that, and you can't force me to do it. If you're forcing me to touch your private area, that's called rape, or at least it should be. So if that person is forced to do that, that is oppression, and we can't have that here in the States. People on the left, they're advocating for a thing like that, but they don't understand how would it affect them. You see, they want to say, oh, we want to be for trans rights, is that and the third. But then here comes, humpback Harry, 300 pounds, talking about, yo, I need you to wax that. What's up? Do it or you go to jail, because I feel like today I'm a woman and that's what it is. At that point in time, they'll regret their decision. But let me get to the next call. Alrighty, let's go to, hold on one second. 828 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi, this is Janie from North Carolina. I just have a few comments I wanted to make about Epstein. And you had covered some of them at the very beginning about his room. And I saw a picture of the room, and it doesn't look like there was even anywhere he could even tie off on the top bunk. But I was going to skip that and go back and start at what if, when the lights went out in New York City, if he wasn't moved at that point? Because I think the whole Epstein and everything behind it is much deeper than all his people that went down there and, had sex with the underage girls. I think it's much deeper than that. And I think that the government would want at any cost to keep him alive, because there's a lot of stories starting to come out about CPS, that children are disappearing from Child Protective Services, and that parents are actually looking for children that have been moved, and they go somewhere else and these children have been moved. But when you think about it, the orphanages that children get dropped off to, nobody really knows where they get moved to and what happens. So I think this is going to be a lot deeper. I just can't imagine that the government would not have moved him, because we all know that the Clinton regime would want him dead. And I think they say it's all about some blackmailing, but why would, if somebody was going to blackmail me, I certainly wouldn't go back down there again. And about all the cameras. If he had cameras everywhere, and they say even in the bathrooms, where did he store all that stuff? I'm sure if we're talking like decades old material, I just think that, I think they moved him. I don't know if he's at Gitmo or they've got him somewhere, but of course they couldn't tell everybody, and maybe that's why the guards were asleep. Maybe they knew he had already been moved. And so it wasn't a real big deal to them. They had done been paid off. But I just believe that in order for Barr to investigate the prison system and sketchy stuff that's been going on, of course he has now a reason to go in and question the warden and the guards and all that overtime. I just think that it's much deeper. Because I think that if the Clintons really wanted him dead, he would already have been dead. And for all the people that work for him, his handlers, his bodyguards, if it's all in for the money, I'm sure that they got a lot of dirt on people too. I just think that they're looking for something there that has been gone. But I want to tell you that I appreciate your show. I appreciate what you do for all of us, to give us a voice, to make people think that, this whole Epstein thing is much, much deeper. They are senators and judges and lawyers and mayors of towns and just a lot of things going on that I do think will come out in the near future. But you have a good night. You got some great callers, and I really do appreciate everything you do for all of us. You have a good night.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
Shout out to the caller. Most certainly appreciate her. Alrighty. There's a lot of calls on the line. I'm trying to get to everybody as soon as I can. We got about 50 minutes left. Thank y'all for being here. If you have not hit the like button on the video, please do that right now. If you're not subscribed, go ahead and subscribe right now and hit that bell right beside the subscribe button. When you hit that bell, you should get notified when I go live post a new video. Whatever you do, I'd appreciate it. Let me get to the next call. Alrighty. Caller, you on the line, 607. Who am I speaking to?
Good evening, ABL. This is Chuck from Jayville, North Carolina.
Alrighty, what's going on?
One quick second, I turned down my TV. Evening, ABL. ABL, as for that Jessica Yana, that transgender up in Canada.
Yeah.
This is my question to you or to your viewers. At what point in time have any of these places that she or he, how you wish to look at it, where she has bullied them into waxing her twig and berries, have none of these women declared sexual harassment?
Yeah, I mean, that's what I want to know. Now, I don't know if the actual act was done or not, or if the person is trying to make them do the act. So I don't really know what's going to happen, because it could be sexual harassment if they were forced to do it, or if it was like a persistent thing where he was not taking no for an answer. I'm not really sure how it's going to work. But that's a good question.
I mean, from my perspective, I'm separated now personally, but if I had a woman, there's only two males in this entire world that I want her touching twig and berries. Only
right.
two.
That'd be you and what, you got like a son?
Yes.
There
I
you
have
go.
a younger son.
There you go.
So, I'm just curious why none of these women have to say, all right, fine. You're going to use the government to bully me around? Fine, I declare sexual harassment because I feel uncomfortable touching your male genitalia.
Right.
I was just curious about why none of them have done that. And second thing is, I greatly watch your content right now. I love watching your content. I'm sorry. I love hearing what you're doing, and have a great evening.
All right, thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller. I have some breaking news here. Apparently, a weird painting was found at Jeffrey Epstein's house. Now, this is like blowing up right now, so this might not be true, but I'm gonna show you guys. So, again, this may or may not be true, but you got to see this painting. Now, why oh why was this at Epstein's house? And if you can't make out what that is, this is Slick Willie in drag, in a dress. Why is he in a dress? And who is that right there behind him? Is that JFK? What is going on here? Okay, so if this is real, Slick Willie, you got some explaining to do, sir. You got some explaining to do. And are we going to find more things like this? Like this is just off the charts weird. See, this right here is why you got iced, in my opinion. You're going to find stuff like this at this man's house. Who else you going to find in a dress like that? And why? Who is that right there? Is that JFK? Can I zoom in? Hold on. Let me see if I can zoom in. What is going on? Who is that? Who is that right there? And like I said, this has been kind of floating around the timeline. I've not seen an official source, but if it is official, you've seen it right here first. I've seen it in different places, and people are saying, no, it's real, it's not fake. But we're going to see what's going on. This may have been in Jeffrey Epstein's house. I'm back up a little bit. Let me just show you what's going on here. Okay. You have Slick Willie apparently dressing in drag. This was at Epstein's house, allegedly. But like I said, we're going to see if that's true or if it's not, because this whole saga with Jeffrey Epstein is not over by a long shot. Not at all. All right. So is that Monica's dress? Really? Technologic? It makes a lot of sense. It could be a hoax. Like I said, I'm just seeing it right now. I'm just showing you. So if it's real, you guys saw it here first. But like I said, I don't know if that's true or false. So don't shoot me for saying, oh, it's fake news. I'm just showing you what I see, and if it's real, it's real. If it's not, it's not. Okay? I'm not going to do a video on it or nothing until I figure out what's happening. All right? But let me get to the next call. All right, call you on the line. 317, who am I speaking to?
Hi, can I speak to Fredo Brian Logan? Is this Fredo Brian Logan?
I'm offended, sir.
You're offended?
I'm offended.
Gosh almighty. I could call you a lot of other things, but nobody would care. This is a Corey calling from Indianapolis, man. Your boy from Corey from Indianapolis, originally from the Seven Cities, man. How you doing?
Everything is great, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good, man. I can't complain too much, man. You know, things are going in the right direction. Outside of, weird murders and crazy shootings and all kinds of crazy stuff going on. This Fredo thing, man, I got to tell you, I had to call and talk to you about the Fredo thing, okay? Had to do it. All right? So I'm Irish and Italian. I've told you that many times. I call into the show, say the same thing. My family's Irish and Italian, immigrants to the country in the early 1900s, the whole bit. So the Fredo thing, dude, when I started seeing this stuff coming out, I was cracking up. I mean, cracking up to the point where I all day long I was working and I was trying to put together a schedule for some seminars and restaurants for my company today, and I just started laughing out of nowhere for no reason. It's one of the funniest things I've ever seen, man. And it just to give some context to some individuals maybe out there that don't understand the Irish and Italian thing, but we'll just stick with the Italian part. To give some context to that, in The Godfather, Fredo was the dumb brother, and Vito Corleone, he came over from the town of Corleone in Sicily, came over to the United States, had a son, he had Michael, and then he had Fredo. He also had an older son, too, who ended up getting murdered in the movie because he was kind of a hothead and really stupid. Michael, and this gives context to the Cuomos, okay? It's going to give direct context to their family. So Fredo was older than Michael. Michael, they sent him to the military. Michael goes into the military, goes to war, comes back home. He's like a war hero, but a youngster. And his father, Vito, wanted to keep him out. They wanted to keep him out of the family business, meaning the mafia, okay? So he wanted to keep him out of that business. And he wanted Michael to be a senator. He wanted him to be a politician. He wanted him to be in government. And then you had Fredo, okay? And Fredo was the older brother was the hothead, dummy, just way too hot and too stupid. The second son, Fredo, was even stupider than the brother because he was weak on top of it. And then you had Michael. Michael was the smart kid, the strong kid, intelligent, all these other things. So the reason why it offends Chris Cuomo so much, okay, about being called Fredo is because for paisans, which those of you who don't know what that word means, paisan is basically just, it's Italians call each other paisana, paisan. It's like a brotherly kind of name. Why it offends him so bad, he got so upset at that guy, because it was, first of all, he wasn't on TV, so nobody was telling him that on TV where he's got to be polite. He got so offended because he knows that being called that, as a paisan or as an Italian is a super, super, super insult. Super insult. It certainly is not as insulting as using the N-word for a black person.
Right.
So I disagree with him there. I completely disagree with him there. So, but I know why he reacted the way he did, but here's the irony. The irony is like astounding. The irony is so astounding. He literally is Fredo.
Correct.
His father was again, and he was on a radio show where the guy's calling their family La Cosa Nostra, calling them they were using their last names, for that term that explains the family within the Italian mafia. La Cuomo Nostra, that's what he was calling them. His father was governor of New York. His brother is governor of New York. And he's the schmuck on CNN.
Right.
It's great. I'm telling you the irony here. Anthony, man, I'm clapping my hands. Like, it's so funny. It's so funny because it's so true. And
no way. That's probably why he was so offended, because it hit home, because it's true.
Yes, homie. Yes. And it was totally true. It was 100% true. And that's for most of us. We're all humans. I mean, there's certain things. I don't care how strong you are, how smart you are, or whatever. I mean, there's a couple of terms here and there that you might not want to hear after you had a few drinks, because you might act out of order. You might not keep it together. But it really kind of exposed exactly what kind of guy he really is. I mean, it showed it for what it is. And now you see all the rats. You see, I think Amazing Lucas. You know who Amazing Lucas is, right?
Yeah, I know him. I know him personally. Yep.
Okay, personally. So I like him, and he did a YouTube a video. I can't remember if it was today or yesterday about Donna Lemon or Don Lemon, whatever you want to call him.
Yeah.
About how he's kind of has a lawsuit against him where Amazing Lucas say he kind of believes it, doesn't believe it, seems kind of creepy. But you notice now how the Drain the Swamp thing is really starting to pick up some steam, isn't it? It's starting to pick up some steam. The Epstein thing, finally, right when he got into office, you had all this stuff with Weinstein. What's with the Steens having problems with with molesting women? The Weinstein brothers, the Steens. Then you have Epstein, and there's a number of people. All this stuff is coming out. All these sexual issues and these people taking advantage of people is really coming to the surface. It's bubbling to the surface. Donald Lamone's got a law case on him that he may or may not win. Now he's got to face the pressure. And now Chris Cuomo looks like a complete, I don't know. Let's give him a New York term, a schmuck.
Right.
He looks like a schmuck. In that video, these people that are kind of carrying the torch for the Dems, who are really trying to basically screw everybody in the country, regardless of what your skin color is or your nationality is, they don't care. Right. It's all starting to come out, bro. Are you seeing the trend too?
Yeah, it's all starting to come out. They're all starting to fall apart because the mainstream media was their tool to kind of protect themselves and shield themselves from a lot of this scrutiny. But now that's getting broken apart. The people on the outside, the alternative media, are starting to take over them, so they have no more shield. They're starting to break apart, and they're being exposed for who they are, man. But I'm going to cut you right here, but I got a lot of calls on the line. Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Take care, brother. Have a good night.
Same to you. All right. Thank you to my man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And shout out to everybody in the chat. Oh, and that picture of Slick Willie was real. Okay, let's go to New York Post. Okay, it's right here. This is posted today at 6:28 p.m. Epstein had bizarre painting of Bill Clinton in a dress, heels, in his townhouse. All right. And it's called Parsing Bill by Patrina Ryan Clyde. So this is real. Why he had this in his house, I don't know. But I guess we're going to find out. Yeah, I don't really know what's going on. And apparently the dress was Monica Lewinsky's dress. Hold on. Because it has a tag, Monica Lewinsky. Yeah, so that's pretty weird. Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Bill talking about, oh, well, I was on the plane a few times, went to a few missions in Africa. Where you doing more than some African missions, sir. Did you pose for this painting? Did you put on a dress and some heels for this painting? What's really going on? I don't really know what's happening, but I guess we're going to find out more as more evidence comes out. But let me get to the next call. All right, Shreves, what's happening?
ABL, can you hear me?
I hear you well.
What's popping, my Fredo? Man, Fredo's is crazy right now. I'm just kidding. Tony did a video where he was talking about all this stuff, like if we used it like that. Hilarious, man. No, this is just crazy. I saw that Bill in a blue dress thing earlier today, and my first reaction was, this is sick, but then I just couldn't stop laughing. I couldn't stop laughing. I guess Epstein did not put the lotion in the basket, so he got the hose like permanently. I guess. If anybody's silence, you got Don Lemonhead giving out or handing out Fremunda cheese. Just ridiculous stuff going on right now on the left. But I wanted to call in because I don't want. People were talking. Speaking of Epstein, because people were talking about that. I don't want people to lose sight of that still. I know I keep always saying that, like every time I call in, but we got people in like the highest places, who are involved with sex trafficking children and pedophilia. It's the most evil thing in the world. Like, I mean, all this stuff that's going on, I know it's crazy, but that's the one thing that, nobody should lose sight of. So I'm glad that a lot of people have drawn attention to it. Because you know how we were talking last time about you guys were talking about people on the left and right were talking about it. I think even AOC said something about it.
Yeah. Yep. Everybody said something about it. The whole squad, literally, not literally, not AOC's people, but everybody, left, right, center, everybody said something about it.
Yep. Yeah. As long as they keep it, I'm glad that everybody did. Everybody should be appalled by it, because if you're not, there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
But there's people, just in high places. You got royal family on there. You got, internationals, ambassador. You got everybody in there. You got supposedly now you have Bill Gates, or Bill Gates is really. There's a whole bunch of people basically. You got Naomi Campbell, Oprah, obviously Kevin Spacey, who didn't go for the little girls clearly. You got all these other people there, they're just out there. And I've been saying this for the longest. This is sickening. So people should not be losing sight of that, no matter how much crazy stuff is going on with Don Lemonhead or Bill in a blue dress. Because that picture it made me laugh. But like I said, we got all this crazy stuff going on, and I know with like the mass shootings and a lot of it's not distraction because it's all real. But the most evil thing I think right now in the news that people should never lose sight of is the trafficking of the children. That's the
Definitely.
biggest thing. What do you think?
I'm with you on that 100%. That should be the focus there.
Yeah, because I mean, it's really people are getting exposed. People are basically. What I think personally, I think people are going to try to sweep it under the rug. Now that he's quote unquote gone.
Mm-hmm.
But you heard about how obviously you guys were talking about the security guys were asleep or something like that. The cameras were shut off. I mean, you got a whole lot of coincidences, and I was watching I hear people talking about the Clintons, and I get it too, because they definitely have the Clinton body count, but I got a feeling that it's coming up from even higher places, because you got people that are above them, in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I think so, because we see the Clintons, they are pretty available, pretty out in the open. Where they live and all this and that, but there's others out there who you don't know about at all. You've never seen them before. You don't know their name. So I think there's definitely a higher pay grade above them that could be involved in this for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I think to some, and I mean, they're gonna think I'm crazy for saying this, but I think that a lot of the financiers they're so big that what's a couple $1 billion, what's $20 billion to some of these people to get the job done, right?
Right.
So I just kind of feel like it's a lot deeper, like the caller was saying before. It's a lot deeper than I think people really think it is, and that there's just so many involved that of course you're going to get this this kind of this movement to kind of sweep it under the rug, and nobody should lose sight of it. It's the one thing in the world that's just nobody should lose sight of. You're talking about children getting sex trafficked. It's terrible, and that goes for people who support the open borders and stuff too. I mean, it was like 5,800 DNA samples. They weren't related or something like that. So it all it doesn't necessarily tie together. They're not necessarily all related. All these cases, but I mean, it's the one thing that nobody should be losing sight of.
Definitely.
And since we got it, we got to keep an eye on it. And that's really all I wanted to say. But yeah, that Bill Clinton in a blue dress, my God. I threw up in my mouth when I first saw it, and then I was like, oh, "Okay, wait a minute. No wonder why he killed Jeff." And then but seriously, yeah, nobody should lose sight of it. Just keep an eye on everything, but don't lose track of Epstein. Even though he's gone, I get it. Like I totally get it. And I guess did you hear about this too? CNN. I saw it on David Harris Jr.'s IG page. Actually, he was talking about CNN was trying to blame Barr about it.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, it was the same thing on MSNBC. Yeah, they're trying to blame Barr, talking about Russia and all kind of other stuff, talking about Trump was his friend. They're going to try to attack Trump at every chance they get. So, yeah, I'm not surprised at that. I expected that to happen. That was kind of a normal reaction from them because they don't have anything with the Russia gate. That didn't go anywhere. So now they got to try this. So, yeah, that was pretty predictable.
Yeah, and there's nothing even to tie like Barr to it. You know what I mean? Like he actually made a statement. Did you see the statement he made? Where he was talking about, he felt it's like a terrible thing. Basically, he's saying it's a terrible thing. We're going to keep trying to prosecute and trying to find out who's responsible. Even without Jeffrey Epstein.
Right. Yeah.
So I thought that that was something important too, and they didn't show any of that. Of course, you know how the MSM is.
Oh, of course, yeah.
So yeah, I mean, just don't lose sight of it. Everybody just keep an eye on it. But that's it. I just want to kind of put that out there that I think it's much higher up. Because they say he was involved with like mafia, and I believe it too. He's involved with mafia. He's involved with, like I said, royal bloods, internationals, and like, I mean, their pockets run deep. If you're talking about banksters and all sorts of other good stuff, you're talking about people who $10 billion is nothing to them. They'll spend that to off anybody. So, all right, but that's it. Just want to say what up. I'm out.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, peace, Fredo.
Peace.
It's just ridiculous. All right, I'm out.
All right, peace. All right, thank you to my man Shreeps for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And shout out to all the Fredos out there. Hey, it's making me kind of hungry talking about Fredo. Give me some good fettuccine Alfredo. Not too much creamy in the sauce. Just it's a good, delicious meal. And we can go ahead and get her done that way. But shout out to everybody for the calls. You guys have been great. And if you have not liked the video so far, please do so. Also, if you're not subscribed, go ahead and do that right now. Hit the subscribe button and click the bell right beside the subscribe button so you get notified whenever I go live or post a new video. But let me get to my next call. 631, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to? 631? Yes.
Get the heck out. ABL?
Yes, speaking to him. Who am I speaking to?
Oh, my. This is Malik Thomas from New York.
All righty, man. What's going on?
Listen, man. This is I've been watching your show for a little while. I just turned. It's crazy. It's my first time calling you, man. And I got through. This is amazing. But I'm like I said, I'm from New York, and I've been a liberal my whole life. Can you hear me?
I hear you well. Yes.
Okay, and basically, I just come into, like you say all the time, I've had my red pill moment. I've always thought a certain way. I just didn't know there was a word for it. Until I ran into guys like you, the amazing Lucas, Jericho, all these cats, and I just came to the light, brother. I was thinking I was in this victimhood. That people around me told me, what my reality was, and that just wasn't true, and I knew that not to be true, but I didn't know how to come out of it. But finally, because you guys are hidden on YouTube, you guys are hidden on the internet, you don't even realize it. Until I finally looked up and bumped into one of you guys, and like I said, I'm just so shocked that you even picked up the phone, man. I just want to tell you, keep doing what you're doing, because you're definitely out here reaching people, man.
Yeah, thank you for that, man. I definitely appreciate you, because people like you keep the whole thing going, man, because the support, I need it from y'all, so I'm glad you were able to get that support to me, man. So thank you for that.
I appreciate it, man. Like I said, I can't even put my thoughts into words, because I can't even believe you picked up the phone, man. Just keep up the good work. You're amazing, and I appreciate you.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
All right, man.
I know. All right. Shout out to the caller. I most certainly appreciate you guys for calling in. All the support. Hey, you guys are wonderful for that. All right. If you're trying to call in, I see somebody trying to call in again. There's only one call per night. So if I talk to you already, you can't call in again. One call per night. Alrighty. Let me get to my next call here. Let's do. Hold on 1 second. Can I get to the number? Okay.
Most certainly.
All right.
Appreciate you guys.
What we got, Matt? What's going on?
Oh, hey, Anthony. I did manage to find some Betsy Ross Yeezys, man.
Oh, really?
No. Hey, I'm gonna take a minority opinion if you don't mind. I think the guy just probably actually killed himself.
I mean, that's possible. It definitely is possible. But my thing is that it's so many coincidences that happen at the same time. It's like, what are the chances of that happening? Not even just him killing himself, but everything that happened around it at the same time.
I sort of believe in coincidences. Like one example that I think is like a huge coincidence is this Loretta Funny. Like the circumstances surrounding Obama's birth certificate. I think you could take everything off the table except the coincidences that sort of lead to the totality. Like some coincidences are non sequitur. But you got this Fuddy who is a member of a cult called Sabood that Obama's mom was also a member of, and there's only like 25,000 people nationwide, and you got this woman that was appointed as a non-doctor. She's not even a doctor. She's appointed to the chair of the Health and Human Services Division in Hawaii, and she happened to be the only one to see the birth certificate. To me, that's a coincidence that sort of should be reason for investigation on its own. But other coincidences that you can chalk up to incompetence. Sometimes I think people confuse incompetence for some grand design, like 9/11. I mean, there was a lot of incompetence around that, but I don't think some of that stuff could be orchestrated.
Well, yeah.
Like supposedly the guards, were backfilling the paperwork. I mean, to me, that would have been all, they wouldn't have had to pencil whip that stuff if, because to me, if somebody really architected that whole thing, they wouldn't have had to pencil whip records because they would have had guards there and they would have had some sort of plausible deniability. You know what I mean? It happened in between the watches that they were doing. It just seems like a bunch of incompetence to me.
It could be. I mean, the whole thing is just everybody knew that he would kill himself. He was the most high-profile person really in the world, I would argue. But yeah, he dies of suicide. You had El Chapo in there for 2 years. He did not try to escape. He was unharmed, and he was able to be successfully transferred to a high-level federal facility after that. He's in for 2 years.
And people love that guy. You know what I mean? Like, I think that person's, personal perception is different than Epstein. I think Epstein was universally hated. El Chapo's people loved him. I mean, he had something to live for. Mm-hmm. But I'll say this though, that Pizzagate's real, man. I think when you look at some of these coincidences, I think again, like coincidences that sort of lead, that are sequitur, like that lead to the totality of a real conspiracy. I mean, you left your napkin with walnut sauce, at my house, and then, hey, when's the last time you went to go see Denny Hassert in prison? I mean, I don't know any pedos, let alone visit him in prison. And, they're doing that stuff. And I think, I can't say I lost friends, but I know some people sort of thought sideways of me when I believed in Pizzagate, and I still do. And now it's sort of politically palatable to believe that there's all these Jimmy Sevilles out there and some, blackmailable cult where they're taking advantage of girls and kids and trafficking and all that other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, it's a really crazy world, so I don't really know what to believe sometimes, but I know when there's smoke, there could be fire, so I think I pretty much leave that right there, man. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Hey, be good.
All right, now, same to you.
But
all right, thank you to my man Matt for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. And thank you all for calling in and try to get to everybody as soon as I can. 606, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, ABL?
Yes, sir.
Hey, this is Sammy.
All right, Sammy, what's going on?
You doing all right, brother?
Everything's good, man. Can't complain.
Hey, big fan of yours. I watch you all the time. I'm watching on live stream right now. And, you know, Epstein drama, Cuomo freaks out. You know, Hong Kong protests, that makes us happy. You know, because they know what America's about.
That's right.
You know, we're about freedom. We're about choice. And we have the right to say, hey, the government's doing us wrong. And we can protest that. And it makes me proud that they're waving the American flag and singing the American anthem over in Hong Kong.
Exactly, 100%. You know, it makes you feel good to see that overseas, because you don't always see that right here in the States where it should be the most. You see them overseas, right. They appreciate what we're doing. So we know that we're doing the right thing over here. We got the best country in the world. People can see that overseas. They're fighting for their freedom, how we fought for our freedom back in 1776. So, yeah, it's good on them for sure.
Well, but if you got to look at it, the United States is going down. You know, everybody's looking at us for freedom, and people's necks are getting stepped on by the government and law enforcement over here. I've had my own trials with law enforcement, going through trials with law enforcement right now about being accused of stuff, stealing my property, and there's no recourse at the Kentucky State Police.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I know what it feels like to have the boot on my neck.
Right.
But when you look at, you know, everybody wants to complain about the United States. You know, hey, let's send them to Russia, let's send them to China, where you don't have no rights, and they will beat you down.
That's right.
You know, and I love America, and I stand with America, and I stand with you, brother.
Hey, man, I appreciate that for sure. Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Well, I will definitely hit some money to you to support your channel.
Hey, I really appreciate that. Thank you.
You have a good night.
Same to you now.
All right, bye-bye.
All right, shout out to the caller from Kentucky, you know, a neighbor state to me over here in Tennessee, also when I was in West Virginia, also Virginia. So shout out to the Kentucky people, good people. Let me get to the next call here. 214, you're on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, what's going on, man? This is Tariq, bro.
All right, Tariq, what's happening?
Hey, not much, man. I just want to do a small commentary on Epstein and then Anthony Scaramucci. Yeah, I pretty much agree with that prior caller, man. Like, $1 billion ain't done to these people, man, because you gotta understand, man, I don't believe he committed suicide, man. It's just all those coincidences. I don't believe that, man. I just feel like a lot of people would have been exposed, and really, man, you gotta protect your reputation, man. I mean, yeah, if you got $1 billion and you're being accused of sex trafficking children, man, there goes your whole career right there. So I honestly think, man, there was a lot of money involved. A lot of people got paid, and they definitely need to get to the bottom of how this man was able to just die like that. You know what I'm saying? That just makes no sense. And it just shows, like, to me, that's just the real hidden hand right there for, you know, him to just die like that in the maximum security. You know what I'm saying? That just makes a lot of money had been thrown. But anyways, that's just my conspiracy on that. I mean, I want to talk about Anthony Scaramucci, man, because I remember I told you on a prior show about Anthony Scaramucci, like, he's the one guy that CNN can bring on to always, like, denounce Donald Trump. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, it's just funny how he says that Donald Trump is the one that's causing separation in this country. Really, I blame the media for it, man. Because the media doesn't allow any nuances. The media doesn't allow any debates. with them, if you have any difference of opinion on illegal immigration, you are automatically deemed a racist. And with the shooters, they just found, what was that El Paso shooter? I don't remember his name. But they just linked one thing that Donald Trump said about illegal immigrants invading, and then I guess he had an invasion of this man, Festo. And then they just linked that to people who, like, right-wingers who talk about, invasions. That right there divides the country. That right there puts things into people's heads that, dang, man, these right-wingers are a bunch of racists. They are aligning with these shooters who want to just go up around and shoot up Mexicans. And then the way they talk about immigration is so dishonest because they're like, Donald Trump is against the browning of America. The problem with that argument is that it could be any race of people on our southern border. They're still coming in illegally. You have to do something about that. It is not anything racial because they're against, browning. Like, they're actually bringing drugs into this country. They're actually sex trafficking. Children, women into this country. Some of them commit crimes in this country, and they just want that to be ignored. It's like it is fascinating. You know what I'm saying? And to be honest, man, you can tell that we are on the right side of this argument, is because these people really cannot respond logically to defend their positions. Like, bro, they call Donald Trump's wall a racist wall. And I'm like, how the heck can a wall be racist? Like, no race can get past that wall. Like, there could be a white man right now who's from, I don't know, like, let's say the Netherlands. He ain't getting past that wall, man. So it's so dishonest, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, they gotta create these emotional racial arguments to stop this illegal immigration talk. Like, because I'm telling you, man, if Trump loses this election, the status quo goes back to normal. Nothing is going to happen on the border. Maybe the next Democrat president is going to just reverse these asylum laws, have them come to the United States instead of Mexico. You know what I'm saying? It's just so fake. So yeah, man, it's Anthony Scaramucci is a joke, man. That man has always been a joke. Every time I see him, seen his fake self on CNN, I almost support on the Trump, or he's got to dial it back, dial back to me. It completely ignore the vicious attacks that CNN does on Donald Trump 24/7. Any type of mass shooting, any type of problem that happens, somehow CNN finds a way to track in Donald Trump, and they expect Trump not to respond. That's what I understand, bro. Like, if you have control of the media, you pretty much dang near have control of the American people's mind, because you're the one who filters the information to the people. You know what I'm saying? Not Trump. Like, no one is really going to Twitter just to see what Trump says for their daily news. Trump ain't giving them no weather information. Trump ain't giving them no information about no shootings, no mass chemical, biological exposure. None of that. You get that from the media. Like, these people are so dishonest. So, yeah, man, the last thing, another thing about Anthony, man, the way they introduce him on CNN, and I told you about these words, they always say former White House correspondent, former Trump supporter. All those words, when they say former and they put that Trump supporter, is really designed to, like, pierce the independents who voted for Donald Trump. And, the conservatives were kind of like wishy-washy. Be like, well, dang, he's a former supporter who liked Donald Trump, and he's going to get some G's. Maybe I should go get some too. It's all psychological manipulation. Anthony Scaramucci is a loser. Nobody paid attention to him. He has no large conservative followers. You know what I'm saying? The media is propping him up just to be this right-wing figure that, had Trump's back or something like that. And it's all fake news, man. I'm really hoping that the Trump supporters can see through this, man. These are all status quo Republicans who did not ride for Donald Trump. These are like the John McCain types, the Mitt Romney types. Like, screw these people. The Anna Navarros. I'm a Republican. No, you're not. Like, what Republican values do you stand for? You're always attacking Trump and conservatives and Republicans. Like, what about the Democrats don't you like? I wish they would ask these people that. Why are you a Republican? What about the Democrats don't you like? Like, what policy? Because you seem to be advocating for all their candidates. You know what I'm saying? Like, you want Trump gone to restore to quote-unquote normalcy while you got these bad policies that have bankrupt this country. Like, what type of trade-off is that? No. We need to fight back against that, bro. Yeah, and screw these fake Republicans. I'm so glad Donald Trump calls these clowns out, because that's what they are. They are clowns. They are these people who lie us into these wars. They don't do anything about illegal immigration. They don't do anything about conservatives getting beat up by ants. They don't do none of that. Screw those people. And that's pretty much all I want to say, bro.
All right, thank you for the call as always, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Take care, man.
All right, now. Hey, great call from my man Tariq, as always, coming in, wrecking shop. Thank y'all for being here. We got about 10 more minutes left. Thank you to everybody. Oh, I see Taz in the chat. Hey, Taz, no spamming, man. I see you, though. Shout out to Taz. But we got about 10 more minutes left. If you want to call in, Taz, go ahead. We got some topics on deck you can talk about. Talk about whatever you want to talk about. It's all good. This is an open forum. But thank you to everybody who is calling in. All right, let me get to my next call. Hold on. Let me see. Let's go to the next call. All right, call you on the line, 614. Who am I speaking to?
Hey, Anthony. How you doing, man? It's Matt in Ohio.
All righty,
nice
Matt.
to talk to you, bud.
What's going on?
Hey, man, that last caller was on point.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. Always.
Yeah. Right? So, yeah, man, I just had a call because, all this stuff going on with, Epstein and everything, it's really bringing some concerns to the forefront that previously have been very fringe. They label it conspiracy, at the, Pizzagate and everything, but it goes back way farther than that. And I've had a lot of interest in figuring this stuff out for years now, 10, 15, 20 years, try to figure out what's going on. And I got to tell you, to me, it's all CIA. It's been CIA since the October surprise. It's October surprise? Maybe it's November surprise? I don't know. Whatever it is. Back in the 70s, when they got Carter out of there and got Reagan in. And, first Bush, basically running the show, stepped right from CIA to 4 or 5 years of just murking around in the shadows, set some stuff up, get this guy in there, and then they got an agenda, and their agenda is just such obviously bad policy for the country that they need a way to make that a reality. And, they're going to do some dirty pull to do it. They want to get freedom and economic policy in there, and that's just basically a Ponzi scheme. They're just borrowing a ton of money to throw it at the defense industry, and they go, if we spend the money today, we'll make more money tomorrow. That's a Ponzi scheme. And anybody could look at it and see that. So in order to get people to do that, they get these freshman politicians in there, and they come in, and they want to rub shoulders. They want to, wine, dine, and schmooze with the bigwigs and everything. So they head on out to K Street, and they, try to get with lobbyists, get some of that free money. And then it's almost like frat row. They just show up and drink and party and stuff. And so they got their Epsteins in there. They got a little party house. And they say, oh, hey, great, man. You want to party? Yeah, let's party here, have a drink. Maybe the drink's doped. I don't know. And then say, hey, we got some prostitutes. You into that? And this guy, he just wants to get along. It's like, yeah, I'm into that. Sure. Yeah, it's your turn, buddy. She's in the back room. That's all you. So he does. Maybe he's drugged. I don't know. Maybe he isn't. Whatever. He wakes up the next day, they show him the video. Say, hey, we own you now. So we're going to fax you what you believe from now on, daily. And you can either take the money or you can take the short straw. And so they vote the way they're supposed to. And that's how policy has been run for a long time now. And I don't know what they're doing now. I'm talking about like the 80s they were doing this. The 90s, it just gets dirtier. Nowadays, I don't know what's up. So I just wanted to put that out there. I'm sure a lot of people, this is just kind of obvious, but I don't know. For a long time, this has been fringe, and I just hope that, we can look at this as, this is not fringe. This is reality, and we need to address it if we're ever going to do anything about it.
That's right.
But what do you think, man? I don't want to just sit here and
No, I mean, I'm right there with you, man. Definitely something's got to be done because a lot of the things are being brought to the light, things that happen behind closed doors that nobody knows about. They need to get brought out. You know, especially when you get children involved. I mean, you got to do something about it, and you really got to get down to the core because these things go on all the time, every day, and nobody does anything. It's time somebody did do something about it and put it into it.
Seriously, and you know, you got to ask, could Epstein ever pull off all this crazy shit out of all this craziness out of nowhere by himself out of left field? Because nobody knows where his money came from. He just got a job he wasn't qualified for, and next thing you know, he's like a multimillionaire. So you know there's an organization backing him on this, and it troubles me, man. I hope that when we look at this, we don't just go, oh, this guy was just a degenerate, and I'm glad he's gone, and we're fine now, because we're not. Like, he is a symptom. Anyways, hey, man, one other thing about Hong Kong. I went out to Hong Kong not long ago, last year sometime. I got to meet them out there. They're great people, man.
Oh, did you go? Did you go to the protest?
No, this was before there was really protests popping off. I mean, I was there on business. I was doing some programming and stuff. I called last week talking about programming and stuff.
Yeah. I remember that.
So I was over there doing some stuff with some crypto coding, and you know, I just got a chance to walk around, meet the people, talk a little. They was real cautious. They were always looking around to see what sort of who's watching them talk, because you could tell they were worried about those little, you know, whatever China's version of brown shirts are.
Oh yeah, and they definitely have them. Not only like physical people, but also cameras everywhere, facial recognition. Yeah. Well,
anyways, I just, you know, a little firsthand experience over there. They're great people. It's there's no crime. There's no crime.
Right.
It's just the most amazing thing. You have just dense sea of people, and everybody is they're just cool. They're running their life, and they ain't really trying to mess with yours, and just real nice people, and I hope for the best for them, you know. I hope we can find something, you know, maybe we can do to help them out.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for the call.
Anyways, hey, no problem, man. You have a good night. Thanks as always for everything you're doing, and shout out to the chat, all right?
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you. All right, shout out to my man for the call. Most certainly appreciate him. 786 on the line. Who am I speaking to?
Hi.
Hello. Who am I speaking to?
Yes. I'm. My handle is Moon Over Miami.
Alrighty. What's going on?
Oh, fine. I wanted to. Am I on air?
You're on live right now.
Oh, okay. Boy, I just wanted to call and say a brief thing that nobody's mentioning. I don't know if anybody's noticing that when Epstein was put into the, he's on the gurney and he's going into the Presbyterian Hospital in emergency. Mm-hmm. I guess he's unconscious. He's wearing an orange jumpsuit, and when I went onto the MCC policy section there on their website, they only have gray and white suits for them. So I just wanted to bring that to the attention of the public, just to notice that, because that, I don't know about the head or the ears or the nose, but that really kind of like stopped me in my tracks and shocked me, thinking, where did they get the orange jumpsuit from, you know?
That's a very good question.
Well, that's all I wanted to say. Love you very much. I follow you. Take care of yourself.
Thank you for the call. Definitely appreciate you.
Bye-bye.
All right. Shout out to the caller. Great call. I'll take this one last call, then I'm out. All right, caller, you're on the line, 757. Who am I speaking to?
Ezra from Chesapeake.
All right, Chesapeake. I used to live out there too, so shout out to you.
Hey, I just want to say a couple of things that are been going on. First of all and foremost, I want to thank you for the way you shedding light in most of these issues that affect us. It's been it's a breath of fresh air hearing it. Just want to touch on a couple of bases. I want to start with the mooch. I think there's a agenda behind his comments in CNN. These people just don't come out with these comments out of the blue. I think he took a page from Trump's playbook. There's always something behind it. I think he's going to be supporting some other, or either selling a book or something bigger behind the scene. That's the one thing I want to say about the mooch. Another thing is this thing with China, how how cautious everybody's being with mentioning Trump and China, but the United States liberal media, it's always trying to make it seem it's about Trump, the defending of the people, and he's not condemning. I just don't understand where are they coming up with these allegations they make. And if you really want to run the country and have them do what you want to do, I think that's what the Democrats are doing. They want to divide us to the point that everybody is to the point that we no longer could get along, and it makes it easier for the government to step in and run all of us. Just want everybody to be cognizant of what's going on. And the one thing I forgot, this is my last point, is this liberal Democratic DSA, I think it is, that's the name of it. Ocasio-Cortez is one of those people. Bernie Sanders endorses them. It's not a member of them. But we cannot disregard what's going on, the silent movement they are doing. They come in and their radical ideas, they're going to try to make a big push. The squad, I think that's how they call them. They're all part of this movement. It's everybody got to stay mindful of what's going on around the country. Brother, that's the only thing I have, and I want to wish you the best.
Thank you for the call, man. Definitely appreciate you.
Not a problem. Have a good one.
Same to you. Great call. Great way to go ahead and end the show, but I got to go right now. Thank y'all for being here. Been a great show. I'll be back with a live show on when I'll be back. I'll be back with a live show on Saturday. But I'll be doing videos all throughout the week, of course. I'll be doing a video tomorrow, probably 2 videos tomorrow. One about the Philadelphia shooting. Once you find out what's going on with the suspect, it might be a little bit different for the mainstream media, so they probably won't be covering it anymore, but that's a different story. So I'll talk about the Philadelphia shooting. Hopefully the officers who have been shot will get well soon. Hopefully nobody's passed away. I've not seen anything about anybody dying, so hopefully all the officers are okay. I think there were 6 officers shot in total, so prayers go out to them, their families. And also, we'll probably talk about this whole Jeffrey Epstein painting, and so we can see what's going on with that. Maybe I'll talk about that, maybe I won't, but either way it goes, I'll be doing videos tomorrow, of course, and I'll be back live on Saturday night. Next week, I'll be in Virginia Wednesday through Saturday. I'll be doing like a live stream from Virginia Wednesday, and I'll be back here by Saturday of next week to do my regular live show, so I won't miss that at all. But on Wednesday, it'll be like an away stream. I won't be any calls or anything that particular day. That'll be Wednesday of next week. So I think I pretty much got everything. Oh, super chats. I got to read those real quick before we get off of the show. And shout out to the moderators. You guys are doing a great job as always. We got Shreebs. We got Liza Jean, Bill from the Hills. We got Ansel. We got Michelle A. We got T-Pain, Zealand Zen, Sushi. I see you in there, boss. Ansel. Thank you to everybody that's in here helping me out with the moderators, keeping all the trolls in line. And super chats, thank you to Vic Squat, who says, I think all this that's going on is to divide people and to create more laws. Looks like to me guns will be the first thing to go, and looks like Trump's leaning that way as well. Republicans, what's your thoughts? I think they want Trump to lean that direction, but I'm not quite sure he'll go that way. He may bend, but he won't break. I don't want him to bend at all, personally. I want him to just keep things the way they are, maybe even loosen gun laws. But hopefully he doesn't go in the wrong direction. But thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. He also says, also want to say, love your channel. Keep up the good work. Hey, will do. Thank you to Gil Soto Jr. for your donation. Definitely appreciate it. Thank you to Jonestown Autopsy, who says, this just in from Hot Buys Daily. Amazon running 20% off Maxine Waters' Halloween costumes for the next 48 hours. You're hilarious. Thank you for the donation. Thank you to Rasco77S, who says 50% spike in homicides in New York. Police are calling it copycat murders. All of the victims are parents of a child named Fredo. I thought you were being serious. It didn't get to the joke. But thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. Thank you to brother Throat Puncher. That's his name. Who says, I find it annoying when the caller Ivan tries to say what California is about when he doesn't live here. I'm trapped on the belly of the beast, and the Democrats are sending the entire state to hell. Well, hey, you said it right there, man. Thank you for your donation. Definitely appreciate you. And thank you to Julie Nelson, who said, thank you for speaking the truth. I appreciate you for your donation. And did I get everybody? Jonestown Autopsy says, call CNN Newsroom and ask for Fredo. I did. It's your God-given right. 14048271150. That might not be right, but thank you for your donation. And I think that'll be a wrap for me tonight. So thank you all for joining. If you're not subscribed already, please do so. Also, hit the like button on the video. Get it up to 1,000 likes, however many likes it could be. And that was all I got for now. So until next time, y'all be safe. I'm out, and peace.